3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We hit 1,000 new YouTube subscribers, and that was the deal. Once it got done, we were going to destroy the Carson Wentz poster. All right, Guidos, Purple Drinkers, this is for you.
Yes! Yes!
All right, now Perloff, here you go.
Carson is not crumbled.
Not going down.
Okay, ready? I'm going to go like Office Space and do it sort of with the other end of the bat.
Whoa, yeah. You just give it the rip?
Yeah, rip it. Maggie can't rip it.
I can't rip it.
All right, let's both of us try.
Okay, here, wait, you try.
This thing is tougher than the actual Carson Wentz.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show. It is Friday. It's the Maggie and Perloff show, CBS Sports Radio. Maggie is still out. Zach Gelb is sitting in. Zach, I got a panicked text from Maggie today. She's like, she doesn't have great reception.
She wants me fired already?
No.
Oh.
She wants in on this Victor Wembanyama, Britney Spears story. She's like, I can't believe Victor Wembanyama got into it with Britney Spears. And then I text her, I said, that's not all. Tom Brady may or may not be dating a Kardashian. She's like, I got to get better cell service. So she's sitting out there in a lake thinking basically the world is imploding. But she'll be back on Monday. She's having a great time. But that leaves us with Mr. Wembanyama. So before we get into the Britney,
I actually think there should be a policy when we go on vacation.
Yeah.
We should all have to drop our cell phones off in Spike Eskin's office and then come back. And however long your vacation is, then you get your phone back and get alerted to everything that did go on.
But on your bingo card, would you ever have Wembanyama and Britney Spears getting into it?
No, never in a million years.
Wait, before we break that down, tonight is Wembanyama's first game in Vegas. Now, this is the second game that is sold out before the game, like way in advance in Summer League history. The other was Zion in 2019 making his debut. There have been 5 sellouts of all time, but I'm getting the sense this is the biggest Summer League match maybe ever, because this is probably all we're going to see of Wembanyama. As it turned out, Zion got hurt that summer. Big surprise. And that was all we saw of Zion. But I do not remember. I don't remember LeBron in Summer League. I'm sure it was amazing. I don't remember Curry in Summer League. I don't remember any of that. I do remember Zion. It was awesome. He ripped the ball away from Kevin Knox and dunked it on his head. But this is big. And it kind of worries me, Zach, that I don't think Wembanyama is going to be able to meet this level of hype. No fault of his own. The hype is out of control right now.
Full disclosure, I can't stand Summer League.
What?
The takes that occur from these irrelevant basketball games to me is just the definition of jackassery. But even I will say there is a mild level tonight of interest and intrigue when it comes to Victor Wembanyama making his Summer League debut, just because I want to see, even though we won't get the answer tonight, is he worth the hype? But this is the first time most of us will be able to watch him live.
Yeah.
And will actually give somewhat of a rat's ass to what he does. And you hit the nail on the head when you talked about Zion. I'm just praying that Victor Wembanyama doesn't get hurt, because I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. Every time you see him walking around, he looks like a man on stilts. If you're at a circus or if you're at a carnival. And I just keep on saying that's a lot of body that could get injured, unfortunately.
I can't believe you don't take Summer League seriously. You're telling me that Terquavion Smith's 3-pointers last night for the Sixers were not legit, that I shouldn't get excited about that? I hear you. Okay, I hear you. But
sorry, I'm not the first radio host to fall asleep on the air. And won't be the last.
Hey, no comment on that. No comment on that. But this is a big match. Obviously, I hate to say this, it just gets bigger because of this ridiculous, and I'll say it's ridiculous, controversy with Britney Spears. Video just came out today from TMZ. Britney Spears, if you haven't heard the story, was allegedly slapped by a Spurs bodyguard who was with Victor Wembanyama. And we finally saw video. It's not great video, Zach. Did you see any kind of slap there?
So to touch on this, we saw also the headline yesterday, and it was security guard, director of security for the Spurs slaps Britney Spears. And then you read the TMZ article, and there was another account that when he shoved her hand away, it was actually Britney Spears' hand that came back up into her face and knocked off her glasses. This video, it seems like a whole lot of nothing, but it did seem as if this was something that easily could have been avoided because there wasn't a big crowd around him looking by the video. And Britney Spears walks up from behind. I don't want to say taps on the shoulder because there's no way she could reach, but taps him on his back somewhere. And the security guard shoves her hand out of the way. I don't know if he slapped her. I don't know if it was her hand going back up into her face. But this really seems as a big non-story here that everyone's overreacting to.
I don't know where you're from, but if you come at me from behind in suburban Philadelphia where I grew up,
that's
Zach,
a little different.
That's different. You're going to get your hand slapped.
You saying where you grew up? You grew up on the main line in Rich Kid County.
You kidding me? In the shadow of Villanova, you're telling me that I
you weren't on the streets of North Philly like where I lived when I was at college at Temple University. Come on.
I probably did have Britney Spears walking up behind me.
Kid.
All right, fine. Let's change the subject. But I agree with you. I can't understand why people are taking this story so seriously, as if it was the slap hurt, like it was Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. It's nothing like that.
I'll tell you why.
Small case of misunderstanding.
The hype about Wembanyama, and he didn't even do anything here, but this guy moves. There's a story about him. And even though Britney Spears is way past her prime, we all know the megastar that she was. This is just such an obscure story, and it's the summer. and people just hear the names Britney Spears and Victor Wembanyama, and the fact that they were even close and there may have been a slap, there may not have been a slap, this is always going to be a story because I'm stupid, you're stupid, we're all stupid. We make this such a big deal, and we love being stupid.
Yeah, I mean, poor Maggie was stuck by a lake with no reception trying to figure out what's happening with Britney Spears.
Wasting her vacation on this crap.
She must have thought, wait, are Victor Wembanyama and Britney Spears dating? Which would be an amazing couple. And if that's how this ended, I would buy the movie rights tomorrow because that would be amazing.
If Wembanyama and Britney did. Maggie's first reaction was, that story can't be real, right? It's like a fake headline. It's from The Onion. No, it was like a real story. Yeah. And now we have like video proof. But here's why I think it's a bigger deal than you guys are both letting it on. We haven't seen Wembanyama on the court yet. So the first two things that we've seen or heard from Wembanyama since he got drafted was a video of him missing shot after shot after shot on the court.
At a Spurs team event.
Spurs team event.
Yeah.
And the second thing is his security detail basically punching Britney Spears in the face, allegedly, although the cops say that, like you said, they moved, they swatted his hand hit her hand hit herself in the face.
This is nothing.
Right. But now we're talking about Victor Wembanyama. We're not talking about what he's doing on the court, what he could do on the court. We're talking about him missing shots in a photo op, and we're talking about him and Britney Spears and this altercation. If Wembanyama goes out there, tonight he's going against Brandon Miller, who's the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah, who stumped the other night.
If Brandon Miller outplays him, or Wembanyama looks shady in any way, shape, or form, you're telling me that the oops, I did it again memes aren't going to come back around the next time Wembanyama has a bad shooting night?
You mean the Spurs did it again? They drafted a center, number 1 overall. It sure has worked out pretty good for them. And Brandon Miller, there's no way he's outplaying them. They don't even play the same position. I thought, first of all, this is the first I've really heard Wembanyama of any substance except for that small interview with Brian Windhorst of ESPN. And I thought he sounded pretty chill afterward.
Something did happen a little bit. We were in a hall. There was a lot of people, so people calling me, obviously. And there was one person who was calling me, but we talked before with the security, don't stop because it's gonna make a crowd. So I couldn't stop. So that person was calling me, sir. I didn't see what happened because I was walking straight and we told don't stop. But that person grabbed me from behind, not on my shoulder. She grabbed me from behind, and so I just know that the security pushed her away. I don't know with how much force though, but I didn't stop to look, so I kept walking and enjoyed a nice dinner.
I 100% believe him. He is 7'5". Britney Spears is what, 5'3", and she taps him from behind. And the security even told him, if anyone tries to stop you, I don't care who they are. And he didn't know at the time who Britney Spears was, and neither did the security guard. Just keep walking, just keep walking. So if a fan taps you from behind and you just keep walking, your security guard gives a backhand, and who knows what actually happened on that backhand, there's a good chance that he didn't even know that this was a story until they sat down and Britney Spears walked up to the director of security.
What do you mean you believe him? What's the other option that he said, hey, if you see Britney Spears, give her the back of your hand? What do you mean there's nothing to not believe? Is there any conspiracy theory here that Wembanyama was after the pop star?
He is so oblivious here, and he did nothing wrong. So, Samter, by the way, I have a new job recommendation for you. Resign from this show. Skip Bayless needs a partner, because if you think this is going to follow Victor Wembanyama for any length of time, this is the biggest non-story ever. You could go debate Skip Bayless each and every week on FS1.
Well, here's the one thing that I will say. First of all, I found it very interesting that he was talking to the media about the situation, considering it was illegal at the time. The cops were investigating it. It hadn't been dropped yet. So, like, typically you would just say, I'm sorry, I can't talk about the situation. So I was surprised that he was allowed to talk about it.
Because he didn't do anything wrong and nothing happened.
Right, but it was still a legal situation, whether he's involved or not. You still just say, like, I'm sorry, I can't, we'll let the investigation pan out. I can't comment. But here's the other part of it, and here's why I think it follows him around in a sense also. When he says she tapped me on the shoulder or she grabbed me from behind, Britney responded to that saying, I didn't grab him, I just tapped him. Now that you got this Britney Spears versus Wembanyama, who's lying? Who grabbed? Who tapped? Who grabbed? We don't know. At the end of the day, Wembanyama, rookie move. Don't talk about it.
Alone. Just leave him alone. It's
don't
no longer
talk
leave
about
Britney
it.
alone. Come
and don't
on.
be involved. I'm just saying, if Wembanyama goes out there the first couple nights and he falls flat,
in a
or he's not amazing like we all expect him to be, this is going to be a story that we're going to talk about when it comes to Wembanyama if he's not living up to expectations.
You know what?
And the expectations are so high, it's almost impossible for him to live up to them.
I'm not sucking up to management here, but I've seen emails from our boss in Spike Eskin that people pay too much attention to Twitter. This is just getting caught up in a dumb Twitter overreaction. And I love you, Samter, But you thinking that this is going to follow him and all these memes, who cares if Eggface246789 on Twitter is going to be saying, let me take a shot at Victor Wembanyama because he had a little kerfuffle where he wasn't even the one doing the slapping with Britney Spears. This is the biggest non-story ever.
Kevin Durant cares. A lot of these young guys
loser
care.
on Twitter.
A lot of these young guys who are on social media, it matters to them. Of course it matters to them.
No, it doesn't. Well, by the way, you're saying like he has to worry about the legal aspect. Is he going to need like OJ's defense team to get him off of this? He had no idea what's happening. I can't believe you think that he would say, I can't speak. First of all, police aren't filing it. There's no legal situation, is there?
No, there isn't now. But when he spoke, they were still investigating.
Charges.
And again,
criminal charges. Oh, my God.
No criminal charges.
I know. I can't believe that.
But initially, they were investigating for a battery. So I'm not saying that he said anything wrong particularly. I'm just surprised that the legal team of the Spurs didn't just say, hey, listen, when they ask you about it, just say no comment.
You do have a security guard for the Spurs, maybe slapping someone. Maybe this is a San Antonio Spurs problem.
Because he's not incriminating himself, Wembanyama. He could incriminate the Spurs security detail.
Can you imagine, by the way, what Britney Spears security people over the decades have done to people? They probably.
Well, I mean, that's the funniest part of the story is that the security guard went over to Britney afterwards and said, I'm sure you must understand about fans coming up to you. Like, that was his apology to her. It's like, I don't know if that's going to work.
Well, it should work. I mean, she should know exactly what. I mean, obviously, they didn't know it was Britney Spears. I'm not sure I would know if Britney Spears walked up and tapped me or Zach. Would you guys be? I mean, I'm not saying I would hit her, but I'm just saying I wouldn't know it was her.
That's the other part. I mean, the security guy barely even looked around, right? So at a certain point, if you're going to swat your hand at somebody, don't you at least look to see who you're going to be swatting at?
Well, you know the famous story of my
protecting another man, and there's a woman there. Like, don't you kind of look first before you hit?
How about me?
You're not wrong, but go ahead.
Okay, well, do I have legal action? Because we all know what A-Rod did to me.
What did A-Rod do to you?
2018 Super Bowl party. I was at a party. I won't say the company. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, some big dude, kind of an older guy, by the way, pushes me in the back to clear a path for A-Rod, who's walking by at this party. Now, by the way, this guy, he was probably pretty tough, but he couldn't, it wasn't a sure thing that he could beat me up either. It was a security guard who was super aggressive.
Can I call cap here, as the kids would say?
No, dude, I'm telling you, this
you
guy
thought
was
you could beat up the security guard.
It wasn't it wasn't who you would think it would.
Okay. You tried. I had to block you when you were in the office. I lined up in a 3-point stance a few weeks ago, and you ran the other direction, scared.
Yeah, because that was in the office. If we were in a bar, I probably would have taken a swing at you, grabbed a bottle. But I'll tell you, this guy was he was not the kind of security guard who confidently pushes people in the back to clear a path for A-Rod. Why is this guy, he looks like an executive pushing me in the back?
So can I claim then I was assaulted by Flyers coach John Tortorella when he was coaching the Rangers? I was once in a media scrum, and I guess I was blocking his path to get up to the podium in a locker room, and he grabbed my backpack, which was on my shoulders, and moved me, which was very impressive. And there was one hockey writer that said you could maybe file a lawsuit right there.
Wow.
So maybe we got something going on here.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that was a pretty failed attempt at a top there. You had John Tortorella, and I had A-Rod. So
don't get me. I wasn't trying to top you there.
Yeah.
I was trying to just catch some of the names that were falling out of your pocket.
Kind of sounded like you're trying to top me.
I feel like that's not the only time we're going to talk about A-Rod today.
Oh, all right, we have a lot to get to because we coming up.
We have a lot to get to. We just talked about Victor Wembanyama and this non-story for 15 minutes. That Samter thinks is the biggest deal in the world. I am turning red. I'm ready to just mentally explode right now because Samter thinking. I want to slap you like you're a little fly swatting around the studio right now. You thinking that this is going to follow Wembanyama's a joke?
Yeah, then the police are coming after you for battery. But
go ahead, bring them on.
Let's go.
It's nothing like that time Tortorella moved Zach's backpack. So, all right, we got to take a break because Antoine Walker
my
is coming on.
backpack has feelings too, all right?
Antoine Walker, by the way, who is a large man, if he actually pushed somebody, would hurt. But he's going to help us break down the Damian Lillard situation. Damian says he might not go to training camp or won't go to training camp. Antoine will weigh in on that and much more. So come back and join us right here on the Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. Zach Gelb sitting in for Maggie. Besides Victor Wembanyama and Britney Spears, there is a lot going on in the NBA world. Of course, Damian Lillard wants out of Portland, and a report came out that he will not report to training camp unless he is on the Miami Heat. We're going to get into that and much more with former NBA All-Star, former NCAA basketball champion Antoine Walker. Antoine, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Before we get in the NBA, next week we're doing something on CBS Sports Radio. We're ranking the best teams of the last 30 years, and we're looking at college basketball teams. And I got to tell you, we were stuck between the 96 Kentucky Wildcats and the 2012 Kentucky Wildcats. I have a feeling which way you vote, but help me make the case for 96.
Well, I mean, it's not even close. I think when you look at, and it's not me being biased, but you look at our body of work, the margin of victory in which we won, I think it was like 23 or 24. The number of pros that were produced from that team, I think it was like 9. But the way we played, it's the dominance and the margin of victory, it speaks for itself. And the player success after being in college, too, you add that to it. That's why I think we're arguably the best team to ever play.
Were you the first Kentucky team that just stacked pros, that it was kind of too deep pro at every position? Because then afterwards, I know, I feel like Coach Cal did that a lot. But this team, you had 9 pros in a time when teams didn't have 9 pros.
Yeah, our practices were tougher than our games, and that's not to take anything away from our competition that year. But literally, our practice used to be unbelievable because we were so stacked in position. So you had to compete every day. And that's what really made our team really, really great.
Antoine Walker here with us. Damian Lillard is one of the biggest conversations right now in the NBA. All these reports that he only wants to get traded to Miami, that he doesn't want to go to Boston. If Dame did hit you up and ask you, Antoine, why he should consider Boston, what would you tell him being a former Celtic?
Obviously, I'm biased in that decision, even though I won a championship with the Heat. So it's different. But I think if I was him, I would look at situations with opportunities. I think we all think about Dame and his career and where it's at. If he's got an opportunity, especially if Boston doesn't have to give up a lot to get him, and they're able to be a championship contender, you go play for a championship. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think it's where he wants to be in his career. If he goes to Miami, even though we know Miami made it to these conference finals, they're starting to lose pieces on that. They're going to lose some pieces on that roster. So you got to think about where he wants to be in his career. Does he want to compete for a title? I think it's a better chance in Boston.
Talking to Antoine Walker, former NBA All-Star. Do you think it's possible that Dame, if he doesn't get the trade to the Heat, stays in Portland and maybe holds out in Portland? There was a report that his agent's putting out there that he's going to hold out unless he lands in Miami.
I don't think. I just think it puts a bad seed out there for himself to do that. I mean, you don't want to box yourself into one team in one situation. So hopefully he doesn't do that. And one thing, Dame has a big salary that goes along with him. I mean, so it's going to be limited in what teams can be able to do. Is one, to try to get the money to pay him, the assets that they're going to have to give up, the money, the cap room, and space. So it's a lot that goes along with just acquiring Damian Lillard on top of him just being a great ball player. So I think he has to be very cautious, to say the least, about how he tries to orchestrate this. I think he's made a point to, obviously, Portland saying that he wants to go to Miami. I know Pat Riley's probably going to do whatever he can to add an asset like that to go alongside Jimmy Butler. But I think don't box yourself into a corner. I think you do not want to do that. He's making too much money, so that his teams are going to be very limited, for him.
For years and years and years, he stayed loyal to Portland. And whenever someone would say, did you want to request a trade or go somewhere else, he would say no. When this finally came down earlier in the week that he told the management team there in Portland that he wants out and he wants to go to Miami, were you surprised by that, or did you kind of feel like this was brewing and this was eventually going to happen?
Well, I think the direction of the Portland Trailblazers is to get younger. They're not going to be able probably to add the pieces that's needed around him. Portland's not a big free agent destination. They got to do it through the draft. They're not a team that free agents want to sign there, honestly. And it's not because of Portland. It's not, that's a different type of city. Portland's not, a city that has a lot of attraction. And free agents sometimes like to go places where, the Miamis, the New Yorks, the Chicago, some of these bigger markets have a better chance of landing big-time free agents. So their back is against the wall a little bit. So that's where that comes in and play at. So I just think that all those things play a part. And you've seen that throughout Dame's career of being able to add pieces around him.
Antoine, there seems to be a trend where some of the older players, the older expensive players, don't have a huge market out there. James Harden opted in Philadelphia, and there are reports that not a lot of teams want to trade for him. I think Kyrie's market was a little bit down. Obviously, Russell Westbrook. Do you think this is teams are getting smart, or do these older players have more to offer and maybe could help a team win a title?
It's hard to double dip, Doug. It's hard when they think guys are past their prime and they get to that end where they still are big name guys, but how much do they have left in their tank? And I think teams are reluctant to lock in for another 4 or 5 years. So I think that's why the market's small. Even look at Kyrie's deal. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's only a 3-year deal, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're not locking into guys. The older guys, the guys that are probably in their 30s, they're not locking into those guys now. So I think that's just what it is. I just think that's what the teams are looking at value of players. They can get younger, start with the younger couple guys, young group of guys, and build up to that. So I think that's what's happening right now in the league.
Antoine Walker, if you were Brad Stevens and if you were running the Celtics, would you offer Jaylen Brown in a package to go acquire Damian Lillard?
No, I would not do it. Not that I don't have a lot of respect and think Dame's a great player. I just think with the Celtics, I mean, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you've been to a finals with those guys. You've had nothing but success. These guys have made deep playoff runs. Why not keep it together? Continue to add pieces around them. They're right there, this core group, to win the title. They've been there before. I think you keep it together. It's very unique that you get two dynamic players in their prime and be able to play this all the way out through. I think you re-sign them and you continue to add pieces around those guys. I think they definitely get one.
Is Joe Mazzulla the right coach to get them where they want to go?
Maybe a couple of years ago I probably would have said no, but you got to think about it. He's gaining experience too. You got to think about what he's learned over the last couple of years, taking over, in that situation. So he's really going to become a better coach and be better. He knows these two stars. I'm pretty sure they have a great relationship. So he definitely could be that coach because he's got on training. He's been there. He's got experience. He's been in big games. He's been in meaningful games. He's only going to get better in those situations.
Antoine Walker here with us. Victor Wembanyama makes his Summer League debut tonight. What are your expectations for Victor in year one?
It's going to be tough. They're going to have to continue to put pieces around them and good players around them. The league is different. It's always tough for guys at his size, 7'5". He's going to have to be able to guard this level. Guys are going to go at him. That's one thing that's going to be a problem. Got to figure out a way he's going to be able to score. He's not a guy that plays with his back to the basket. It's everything going to be pick and pop, jump shots, putting it on the floor, trying to deck it. It's going to be really tough to do at his size. So he's going to have to figure out the program and how he can be effective. But he has all the tool sets, his skill set. I think Popovich is the best coach for him because Pop is going to take that pressure off him. He's going to stop myself and you guys from killing him. He's going to stop us from really going at him and letting this guy develop into a good ball player. Now, whether or not he's going to be a superstar, all-star, no, but I do believe he's going to be a very good NBA player because of his skill set. How good he's going to be is all going to be based on him and how much he develops.
Antoine, you went in against Sean Bradley, I believe, in your career, and Yao Ming, guys who were 7'5". Offensively, how did you approach a guy like that? Did you stay away from them?
I played with Sean Bradley, so going against him in practice, they're going to block your shot. It's going to be very difficult to go into their body. I had a skill set where I could put the ball on the floor and take a bigger guy outside. So that's what I would try to use my quickness and get around him with my dribble. I think it'll be the same thing for Victor and guarding guys quicker. Yeah, I think we got centers, the Embiid, Jokic, MVP, Giannis, taller guys that step out, shoot threes, and put the ball on the floor. So it's going to be a learning curve for him, too, as well, because he's going to have to get on the floor and defend like he never had to defend before. He's not going to be able to lay back in the lane and just sit there because these big guys now in the league shoot threes.
Last one for me, Antoine Walker. Just getting back to Dame, do you ultimately think he'll get what he wants and he'll get traded at some point this offseason to Miami?
I think he'll get what he wants. Miami could fall off the table if things don't go right. I think the organization has a ton of respect for him. Obviously, they've paid him. They've done everything. They're in a rebuilding stage. I mean, to pay a guy $50, $60 million, and you don't know if you're going to make the playoffs. It's probably very difficult to do. So I think they're going to honor this. They're going to get him traded to the right situation, but they want some value back, and they should. I mean, this is a Hall of Fame point guard that still has good legs, still has a lot left in the tank. Why not get some value back for him? So Portland has to be stubborn in this case and make sure they get – you're probably not going to get equal value, but you don't want to flip your organization upside down, but you want to get something back in return.
All right, Antoine, I looked at the 2012 Kentucky roster. If you guys went head-to-head, you'd have to shut down Anthony Davis. Would you be up to that job?
Easy.
Will even be healthy, let's be real.
Yeah.
He's a great player, but you got to think, though, I got a little help. Walter McCartney was 6'8", 6'9", too now. I got a little help.
I mean, your team was ridiculous. Tony Delk, so many NBA players. Yeah, no, you're definitely. I'm putting you on the list, and now with your blessing, maybe even number one. And I don't like Duke, so I'll gladly do that. But Antoine, we really appreciate the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Antoine Walker with us. He has some good points about Dame. It feels to me the more and more we talk about it, the more analysts hear about it. Miami feels like it's going to happen to me.
I agree. I think Miami's inevitable. And just because a player says he wants to go somewhere doesn't mean that's where you have to trade him. But in the NBA, out of any other league, it usually seems 9 times out of 10, even if it doesn't happen right away, but what the player wants, he usually does end up getting and have it happening. So I feel as if this is inevitable. I don't think it's a matter of if he gets traded to Miami. I just think it's going to be when. And that's going to be the intriguing thing to kind of monitor because if I'm Portland, I'm just not giving him away for nothing, and I would wait a little bit. And we've seen that before in recent memory. Ben Simmons with Daryl Morey and the Sixers, they ended up turning out to be okay. And also Kevin Durant with the Nets, they waited for a while, and they ended up getting a king's ransom back for him.
Absolutely. Okay, Rich Ackerman sitting here. There are 9 NBA players on that 96 Kentucky team. How many do you think Ack can name, Zach?
All right, so Ack just looked up to the ceiling, and he kind of... Yeah, he gave some
96
there.
national
I'm going to say 6.
Tony Delk.
1.
Not Wayne Turner. Ron Mercer.
Ron Mercer, 2.
I'm just trying to think.
We just had Antoine Walker on.
I thought he was just a given.
Okay.
There's 3. Come on, Ack. 3 more. Let's go.
Okay, Walter McCarty, who he mentioned.
4.
There were 6 NBA players, you said?
9.
9. Oh, 9.
Some good ones, too.
2 more, Ack. Come on.
I'm just trying to think.
90s Kentucky guys who went to the NBA.
Yeah, no, because I'm going back through the early Patino years, but those guys all moved on.
Yeah, not Jamal Mashburn.
No, he's long gone.
People are supposedly listening to Ack here.
Yes.
We're not going to give you all the time in the world.
Let me think about it. Just give me a little...
What do you even think about? You're not going to get next hour. Okay, Nazi Muhammad, you forgot.
Nazi Muhammad,
I'll give you Wayne Turner.
Wayne Turner, he had a cup of coffee in the NBA. No?
He did, according to this. Jeff Shepard, who was a good college
was in
player.
the NBA.
Yeah, he made the NBA.
Wow.
Mark Pope made the NBA. I remember him.
Mark Pope, I forgot
But
about
the really good player you forgot was Derek Anderson, who was young on that team. Mm-hmm. That is a good basketball team, Zach. That is not, there's very few college basketball teams now where you can name 3 guys, let alone 9 future NBA players.
Well, because most people don't start watching until late February, early March.
Or guys are in G League Ignite, or they're overseas like Victor Wembanyama, or, assume at some point they're going to be high school guys.
You're back to calling him Wembanyama? I thought you were going with a nickname for him.
What's the nickname? Wembanyama or the French windmill, which I originally came up with?
The French windmill.
I love that. I don't really know what it means.
I think that's better than Wembanyama.
How about Britney Spears?
Oh, that's good too. You must. Someone had to do that, right?
No, I just can't put that.
All right. Coming up, if you think this is getting weird, we're going to get into the new power couple, and I would argue maybe one of the all-time power couples. But first, here's Rich Ackerman.
Who's Ack dating?
Sports Flash.
I'd like to know the answer to that, too. So this report sponsored by Progressive Insurance, sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit Progressive.com. So far, Victor Wembanyama has made headlines in Vegas for an incident between his security and Britney Spears, which has seemingly been resolved. Tonight, he'll try to do so because of his performance on the court. The top pick overall will be in action for the Spurs Summer League team, and tonight's matchup features the 2 top picks overall. The Spurs meeting the Hornets, who selected Brandon Miller after San Antonio took the 7'4", 18-year-old. The final weekend before the All-Star break has some great matchups. The Rays will host the Braves in a battle of 2 of baseball's best teams so far. Atlanta's won 10 of 11 to overtake Tampa Bay for most wins with 58, while the Rays have been stuck on 57 with 5 straight losses. The Reds will try to end the first half with the NL Central lead. They're in Milwaukee, which trails Cincinnati by 2 games. The Reds have been red hot, winning 5 in a row in 20 of the last 24. There's also the battle of the LA teams. The Angels, hit hard by injuries in recent weeks, will meet the Dodgers, who have closed the gap to just a half game in the NL West, while the division-leading Diamondbacks host the Pirates after getting swept by the Mets. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, it's DA. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, get to ask us a question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet out your question at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. You're listening later in the show when we might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Man, are we such nerds. We were so excited this morning. Actually, it was yesterday. And you actually knew this for a while. Rumors that Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian were flirting at Michael Rubin's July 4th party. When did you originally tweet out, Zach? Zach Gelb for Maggie Gray here on Maggie and Perloff. When did you originally tweet out that they might become a couple?
It was October of 2022. I think it was when Kim and Pete Davidson stopped dating, or they broke up. And then that was right when the Brady divorce was finalized with Gisele Bündchen. And I said, watch, Brady will end up dating Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, so they're not officially dating yet, but I read some of the details. Apparently they were hanging out by the beach, and then they were dancing later. We've seen Tom Brady dance. I don't know how he pulled that off. But they kind of make sense in a weird way as a couple. Tom obviously separated from Gisele Bündchen. Here's my argument. I think this is right up there in the Mount Rushmore of all-time sports/celebrity couples.
If they are dating.
Nah, we don't need to wait for the if, Zach.
But we don't know.
It's a Kardashian.
Did Tom
It's a Kardashian.
Did Tom do the yawn and put his arm around her?
Yeah.
What was the extent of this flirting time?
You don't. Okay, that's the thing. I read they were flirting together. If you're Tom Brady, you don't need to flirt. You just say,
well,
hey,
they
we're
were also
dating.
seen hanging out one-on-one together on the beach before the party started.
Now, if Tom wants to date her, he's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT in many ways.
Well, I'll ask you a question here.
Yeah.
If you're Tom Brady, and we all know Kim Kardashian is gorgeous, but do you want to put up with everything that comes with Kim Kardashian, for example?
Co-parenting with Ye?
Yeah, I was going to say, dealing with Kanye West.
Imagine.
Nope.
He dealt with Antonio Brown, so I guess he likes to surround himself with crazy.
Okay, well, regardless of that, I mean, listen, we are men. Maggie's not here today, so we're all men. We have all made mistakes for women.
Oh,
I
sure.
can understand how Kim Kardashian could make a man forget
we all look a
logic.
little crazy.
Yeah, you're not sitting there at Michael Rubin's party and thinking, if this goes somewhere, maybe I'll have to deal with an annoying ex-partner. No, of course not. He's not thinking about that, Zach.
No, not athletes, but they weren't even the biggest power couple at this shindig. Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but that's old news. I mean, how long have they been together now?
Forever.
Yeah, maybe that's a bigger power couple, but this
It's
is
1,000% a bigger
This is the
power couple.
fresh new power couple. What do you mean 1,000%?
Beyonce is all the way up here compared to Kim Kardashian.
But okay,
Jay-Z and Brady are equals, and I'm the biggest Brady guy there is, Brady does run out when he was playing football to a Jay-Z song. I never see Jay-Z rocking with Tom Brady.
So, oh man. Well, doesn't Jay-Z work for the NFL in some capacity? He helps pick the halftime show. So there's a connection there. I would just argue that Jay-Z and Beyonce kind of do the same thing. They're both musicians.
Yeah.
Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian do
How would you
different
classify
things.
Kim Kardashian?
I was
Let
about
me
to
put you in an awkward corner
Tom
here.
Brady's an athlete, and Kim Kardashian is just famous.
A Tuckus model.
She's not even really that. I'm not even quite sure what she is. But
puts out some good videos.
There is, I don't know. And obviously, a Kardashian dating an athlete is not headline news. There's lots of Kardashians dating lots of athletes out there.
Tell me another day that ends in Y.
But Tom, it feels something, and I think there's more sizzle to this because he just broke up with Gisele, the most famous supermodel in the world. There's a lot going on here. I can't believe you're poo-pooing this relationship. If Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian got married or something, they'd be just a slight bit below Jay-Z and Beyonce. They'd be huge, way bigger than A-Rod and J-Lo.
Do you think that marriage will last longer than her marriage with Chris Humphries? Just wondering. That was like, what, 14 days?
Hours, 72 days, something like that.
And by the way, I know you're saying it's bad to be with Ye's kids and all that. I'm not sure.
Ye's, nothing with the children, just Kanye.
Right. But I think Kim and Kanye had kids together, right?
Yes, a lot, but it has nothing to do with the kids.
No, I'm just saying if you married Kim Kardashian, you would have to sort of probably go to Thanksgiving with Kanye, which I would not want to do personally. I don't think Tom Brady would either. But here's the thing. I'm not sure Kim Kardashian wants to deal with Gisele either. I don't think Gisele probably would not be nice to Kim Kardashian at the Thanksgiving dinner table.
Now, Gisele does have experience with dealing with the ex, and her and Bridget Monahan, who was Brady's.
Oh, yeah.
They never got married, but they had Brady's first
You're
son.
right, you're right.
They have a very friendly relationship.
That's a good point.
You think they'll gather around the table and just spill all the tea on Tom Brady?
And just because, as long as we're talking about this level, didn't Giselle date Leo? And weren't DiCaprio and Brady recently seen partying on a yacht somewhere?
At that party. Leonardo DiCaprio was at the Michael Rubin party, too.
I think they were hanging out like 3 weeks ago. So basically, there's this little fraternity of pretty people that hang out. How come we're not at these parties,
Well,
Zach?
because we're not pretty. Or handsome here.
Or billionaires, or Hall of Fame quarterbacks. There's a lot we don't got going on here.
The other thing, too, on this is, weren't you telling me the story that when Leonardo DiCaprio and Giselle broke up, I think this was, you told me this off the air, that Leo he didn't know who Tom Brady was and just asked someone, just tell me that he's really good at football. And once he found out he's really good at football, he's like, okay, that makes sense. That's fine. He could go date her.
Oh, I actually didn't tell you that story, but that does make sense. By the way, Pete Tollner in the chat, YouTube chat, CBS Sports Radio YouTube channel says, Perloff would have been stalking Embiid and Maxey at the Rubin Hampton party instead of gawking at the famous models and actresses there. I mean, listen. Models are one thing. Tyrese Maxey seems like the funnest hang in the history of the world. I totally would have been doing that.
Well, you know how you never get invited, even though you're tight, supposedly, with Michael Rubin?
tight in the sense that we're both from the same part of the country?
Well, Stephen A. Smith was really annoyed that he didn't get invited. Michael Rubin responded, they have a no media policy there. The only reason Taylor Rooks got an invite was because I guess she's dating or she went to the party with someone that was invited there. But no media allowed at that party.
Oh, is that right?
That's what Michael Rubin said in a tweet today.
Also, I wonder, is that a party where you have to put your phone away?
I don't know. Probably not, because there's a lot of pictures, but also there's video. I'm sure a lot of that production comes from someone that Michael Rubin does hire because he has all the money in the world.
You didn't see a lot of like loose Instagram posts from. I mean, Tom Brady uses social. He would have done something.
But also, when you're at the level of that fame, and everywhere you go, someone tries to put a phone in your face, don't you kind of want to just enjoy the night where you'll take a few pictures and you see the photos that go out there and the celebrities that do mingle together? But don't you kind of want to enjoy the night? Because there's very few settings where you could just go be yourself for a few hours.
Absolutely. A couple other things in the chat. Pete Tollner says that you would be going after Kendall Jenner. Yeah, I mean, I sure would hope so.
Oh, burn, Pete.
No, he's not saying. I think that's not a burn. Oh. And then Rob H says, can anyone verify this? This must be made up. What about the Randy Johnson and Tanya Harding couple? that wasn't a couple, was it? Can you guys Google that? Because if that is a couple, that is the worst sports celebrity couple that I've ever heard about. So
you would need a photographer for the wedding. Randy Johnson now takes all of his photos.
Do you? Are there any other celebrity couples we're forgetting, Zach?
So celebrity couples. Do you want an athlete involved in there?
It has to be an athlete. I don't want celebrity couples. I want athlete and celebrity, or at least athlete and athlete.
Okay, when they were together, what about J-Lo and Alex Rodriguez?
Oh, annoying. I saw there was a J-Lo documentary, and they edited out Alex from every part of it.
Oh, that's lame.
No, it's not. That I would edit out A-Rod out of my life, too.
That's when you break up, though, and you cut a family member out of a photo that already happened. That's kind of the equivalent to the NCAA taking away wins. They already happened. Why do you have to now edit everything out?
I would say under normal circumstances, you're right. But if I was married to A-Rod, I would edit that dude out. Who else you got?
Remember A-Rod when he was at the Super Bowl dancing? As if he was a fanboy for J-Lo? You at the halftime show when J-Lo did it?
No, that must have been when his bodyguard pushed me.
What about one of the all-time greats, Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio?
Yeah, the original Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian.
Russell Wilson and Sierra?
Different. That's a much different couple.
I had a big crush on her. Ava Longoria and Tony Parker.
Yeah, they were a big thing for a long time, and I believe he was unfaithful, as I recall.
I don't remember how that ended, but wouldn't surprise me.
I think he left her for Tanya Harding. No, I'm just kidding.
Just stabbed her in the back.
Yeah, Tanya actually took out Eva's knees.
All right, this is a good one. Kate Upton and Justin Verlander.
That is a good. Okay, now we're talking. That's a pretty good couple. That's a win-win. It also she supports his career so much. and I assume he supports hers.
And that's like a real couple, not like a couple that's been together for 3 weeks and then broke up.
And also when Justin
Verlander, Matt Harvey with everybody.
Yeah, when Justin Verlander signed with the Mets, I was more excited that Kate Upton was going to be going to Mets games than actually Justin Verlander.
Yeah, she's really cool. Back to my SI days.
Yeah, cool. That's
no,
how I
she's
think of Kate
super
Upton.
nice. She's really, really cool. Actually, I don't know Justin Verlander at all. He seems to me like, out of that couple, she seems like the nice one, believe it or not. And she has no reason to be nice, but she should be mean.
Well, Verlander's a baseball player, and baseball players always seem miserable because they have to talk to the press 9,000 times in a day.
But why would he be miserable? He goes home to Kate Upton. There's no
I'm sure
excuse.
he's happy when he goes home.
Okay.
And there were photos that were leaked of the two of them a few years ago. One of their iClouds was hacked.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, a lot of rated R pictures. I'll give you an underrated couple here.
Yeah, hit me.
What about Dustin Johnson, the golfer?
Yeah.
And Paulina Gretzky?
So that's in the shadow of the great celebrity couple, Wayne Gretzky and Janet Jones. Now, you're way too young to remember Janet Jones from the Flamingo Kid, but Paulina Gretzky's mom is the original Paulina Gretzky. She was unbelievable. And when Wayne married her and came down to L.A. and basically brought the NHL to America. So that was a super impactful couple because I think of what it did for hockey. I could even argue that's on the Mount Rushmore. But Pauline and Dustin Johnson is great, too.
Now, in the chat, and this is a good one, D-Wade and Gabrielle Union.
Well, that one, I think everyone loves them. Does anyone they have such a high Q rating. Does anyone not like those two people?
No.
And D-Wade showing up in all these stylish suits at the finals was amazing, or stylish outfits. They have a commercial where they have a bunch of commercials, really, where they compete. They're just so likable. I wonder if Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian did get together, would they do commercials together? Would they be like a thing, like the new power couple?
Maybe Brady would start doing a lot of squats.
I don't know. I mean, he lost a lot of money in crypto, apparently.
I don't think that really affects him, though.
Oh, you're saying squats so he could have the backside of...
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here.
And they get in those Brady shorts that Brady puts out there. I could see them partnering up together. Kim will start rocking those Brady pants and Brady shorts.
We got to break
Sales will go through the roof, let me tell you.
We got to break in a minute. Maggie's convinced that Tom Brady's coming back. I don't know why this Kim Kardashian thing is the last straw. I say there's no way.
He's done playing football.
He's done. I mean, if he's dating Kim Kardashian, he better retire. Mike, if you think that the Britney Spears Wembanyama would make for good headlines if Wembanyama plays bad, can you imagine the headlines if Brady goes back and plays badly? With Kim Kardashian rooting him on?
At least Kim will be on board with Tom Brady playing football, unlike Giselle at the end.
So Tom Brady has left the NFC, which leaves the list of quarterbacks in the NFC outright comical. Yesterday, we ranked the AFC quarterbacks, Zach Gelb and I, and it was basically Pro Bowlers through 10, maybe through 13. The NFC is the opposite. This is a much more challenging exercise. We're going to do that next here on the Maggie and Perloff Show. Zach Gelb sitting in.
This is going to be a lot of Jalen Hurts and then humana to try to get the rest of the list out there.
There's a second guy I like. I can go too deep on this list. But no, it is not the AFC. And Tom Brady is definitely not coming back. Kim Kardashian is not going to be in the stands, unfortunately. But we're going to be right back, right here on the Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh boy, there's a lot of jelly left. I thought she was making progress. There's a lot of jelly left.
See, I told you,
she needed to hear.
fake lifelines that
Oh
you
my
were
gosh,
giving me.
I think this is going to end up worse than the peanut butter challenge, and I was sick for 4 days.
Oh no!
I'm like, my hands are shaking.
No, this is going.
This is all the
This is
sugar.
going terribly awry. Do you want to take a small break and then maybe we assess your vitals?
I kind of want to just drink a little water and maybe
Yeah.
stand up.
Why don't we
Maybe just start running out of the office.
Honestly,
Whoa.
real talk here.
That was just
Real
a
talk
really
here.
big bite there.
Can we get some makeup? You look green.
Please don't tell me I need makeup.
That's mean.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff Show, CBS Sports Radio. Zach Gelb is sitting in today. Maggie will be back on Monday. She's completely out of the loop. She keeps on texting me, what's going on with Britney Spears and Wembanyama? I keep telling her it's nothing. Samter thinks it's a federal
biggest
offense.
thing in the world. Yeah.
Samter thinks that he's Victor Wembanyama is going to have to hire a legal team 12 deep to keep him out. Now, come on.
This will follow his career forever and haunt
my
Victor
God.
Dream team,
Wembanyama.
baby.
That video is so disappointing, too, by the way. They're like, videos come out, and you can't tell what the heck's going on. And basically, if you don't know the story, Victor Wembanyama was approached from behind by Britney Spears, tapped him, a security guard shoved her hand away. Somehow her face got hit by somebody's hand, and she was fine, and now it's a big nothing burger. Is that accurate, Zach?
I would say for the most part, we don't know if the security guard slapped her directly or if it was the slap that led to her hand going into her face. The whole thing is bizarre. I'm kind of surprised that Britney Spears is this big Victor Wembanyama fan, and for someone that said so many people go up to her and take photos with her, wanted a photo with Victor Wembanyama. And also, I'm kind of surprised that director of team security, whatever his title is for the Spurs, that I know that they're walking and they have to keep it moving, but someone taps you on the shoulder or on his back because there's no way she can reach his shoulder, and the next thing you know, that hand just goes right out in a slapping motion, too. So it's a whole lot of nothing here.
Absolutely. So
if this happened, put it this way.
Yeah.
If this happened in November in the heart of football season, this is a little story, and it doesn't go to the level that it did in the last 24, 48 hours.
That being said, we are psyched to see Victor Wembanyama play tonight. His Summer League debut going against Brandon Miller, the number 2 pick. I don't think anyone's going to be watching Brandon Miller. It's all about Victor Wembanyama, 7'5" Frenchman. He better do something tonight, or we're going to. I'll bet you he has about 8 blocks. I don't think he's going to score that many points.
I'm just happy that on Monday, that this is a Friday, and that this isn't a Thursday, because this is a Thursday, and then he didn't play great. Tomorrow would be, is Victor Wembanyama a bust? 855-212-4CBS. Ugh, it would be insufferable, the conversation. So I'm happy there's a buffer there for 2 days before everyone returns.
Yeah, so why not take this opportunity to rank the NFC quarterbacks, of course. It is July. We ranked the AFC quarterbacks yesterday, and it was an impossible task. We were getting Pro Bowlers at 11, 12, 13. Then we go to the NFC. And let's say the scales have balance here because it is very thin.
Slim pickings.
Here's how we do it. We're going to do all 16 presumed starters, rank them 1 to 16. I'll go first and say who I have at a spot, then Zach will go. Although I think number 1, we're going to be in complete agreement.
You want to say it on 3?
1,
2,
3. Jalen Hurts.
Wow, look at that.
What if I had said Kirk Cousins?
I would have walked out of the studio for the second time this week.
So obviously Jalen Hurts, MVP candidate last year, was on fire in the Super Bowl, almost as good as Mahomes.
He was the best player in the field in the Super Bowl.
I think Mahomes was arguably just as good. I mean, I know Mahomes started off a little slow, but
statistically, though, not even close. Mahomes only had like 160-something passing yards in that Super Bowl.
Nobody dropped. Everything was a completion in the second half. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Hurts was amazing. Also, there was one drop on a Hurts play that was huge. I can't believe that was the most accurate I've ever seen Jalen Hurts.
To Quez Watkins, I think it was. Oh, that was a shot, too. What a great throw.
Unbelievable. Big Jalen Hurts guy. I think you are, too. So that's easy. Now let's get in the debate. My number 2, let's go. I know it's Friday. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, my number 2 quarterback in the NFC.
Way too early. I think this guy is out of sight, so he's out of mind right now. I know he's coming off the shoulder injury, so people wonder how much he has left in the tank. But Matthew Stafford has done something that Dak Prescott has never done, and that is get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. He was underrated for years because he's on garbage Detroit Lions teams, goes to L.A., first year wins a Super Bowl, now coming back. Stafford is my quarterback, too.
Did I tell you that I ran into Matthew Stafford 5 blocks from here the other day? I was actually on the Brooklyn Bridge, and I walked right past him.
This is the second time this has happened.
No, it's the same story.
I think you told me this.
No, yeah, I know. It's the same story. It's not the second time it happened. Tell me about the Rams, though. They basically got rid of all their defensive veterans. He's throwing at Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, and I think Skowronek, that guy that little guy. I don't really know that they have the weapons around him. I know Sean McVay's a great coach. I wonder if Sean McVay didn't lose a little bit of his motivation after the Super Bowl. Doesn't seem like he's all into it as much. I mean, it's a fact. He talks about retiring all the time. And Stafford's older.
And has a beautiful wife, too. A lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be surprised if Stafford wasn't on the way down. You think he's still number 2?
Yeah, I think it speaks more so to just how bad this conference is. But yeah, I don't think the Rams are going to be good, but can Stafford still play well and this team be bad this year? Because They have no one on defense pretty much outside of Aaron Donald. Bobby Wagner gone, Jalen Ramsey gone. And offensively, at least he has Cooper Kupp, so he's one of the better wide receivers in the game. Cam Akers somehow is still there. They don't have a lot there. Their line was horrible last year. We'll see if they can improve this year. But I'll still trust Stafford over Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins right now.
Okay, number 3. The aforementioned Kirk Cousins for me. Now, listen, he puts up huge numbers, won a playoff game. People are counting out the Vikings after they lost in the wild card round. Why can't he have another good year? I mean, you don't have to be great to be the third best quarterback in the NFC. He's had over 100 rating 3 out of the last 4 seasons. The dude puts up numbers. I know that you don't think the Vikings are a Super Bowl threat, but if you're looking at quality of quarterback play, Kirk Cousins has it.
Kirk Cousins, my number 3 as well.
Okay.
You look at the weapons around him, too. Justin Jefferson. You have KJ Osborne. They just drafted Addison out of USC, too. They are loaded with a bevy of names on the offense side of the ball, even with getting rid of Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison coming in. He's good, not great, but he'll put up good stats and put them in a predicament once again with what do they do moving forward in the final year of his contract.
All right. We're not going to get through this whole list at this pace. My number 4 is Stafford. I hope you have Dak here. Who's your number 4?
Dak is number 4 for me.
All right, number 5. And by the way, I thought about moving this guy into a little higher. Geno Smith for me.
I have Geno Smith at 5 as well.
I mean, listen, you cannot deny that he was awesome last year.
And then also, they had a good offensive team last year.
Yeah.
When you look at DK Metcalf, your BFF, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker when he finally got healthy. And they just added in Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I thought was the best wide receiver in this draft, and then Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. Offensively, they're loaded. Even if Geno regresses a little bit this year, just if he doesn't fall flat on his face, that's going to be a playoff team, and that could be a team that could make some noise in the NFC.
You know, I've seen a lot of Instagram posts of Geno working out this offseason. Now, when Geno came in the league, I did an interview with him when he was a rookie. He was not big.
There's not a quarterback that Perloff does not know.
Yeah, he was, but remember when he was a little soft when he came in the league. Now he's jacked, which is not the Geno Smith I knew. I think he's become more professional over the years. I agree with you. I think he's going to have a good year. 6 for me is Goff. Who do you got, 6?
6 Goff as well.
Okay, we're all into the Lions. There's no need to break that down. They're America's team. They're awesome. Now, okay, I'll bet you we have the same number 7, Derek Carr.
I can't stand Derek Carr because he always plays the victim. But yeah, Derek Carr is my 7th quarterback.
All right, well, let's get to a difference. My number 8. You know him. You love him. He's got the highest passer rating in the NFL last year. He was Mr. Irrelevant. I put him Brock Purdy at number 8.
So that's the toughest part, where to rank Brock Purdy, because we only saw such a small sample size, but it was impressive. And you had guys like Bill Romanowski saying that he's going to be Joe Montana, and it's going to be 15 to 20 years of greatness for the San Francisco 49ers. I have to see more from Brock Purdy. I'm going to preface my number 8 here. I do not love this player, and I don't think he's going to last very long where he currently is. And he's hurt too right now, but I'm going Kyler Murray just because of the upside that's there.
Okay, I moved Murray down because of the health, and you know he really hasn't been that good. When you look at his numbers, he's a great runner, but his passing's never taken off. He probably did not earn that contract. Is that fair to say? He
definitely didn't earn that contract, and it's amazing. He's really good in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
And in the second half, down the stretch, he's either hurt or just bad.
Or Hopkins might be gone, or something around him is not good. I don't think that team is very good, too. And I think they're going to be focusing on tanking for Caleb Williams, so I drop him down. Okay, let's bust through the rest of these. My number 9, oh, man, I did not want to do this. Daniel Jones. I don't want to do. Actually, you know what?
He's my 9 as well.
I'm going to put him there. I think he's way overpaid. He's a great runner. He's a really underrated runner. But he's my 9. Then, 10 is I have Kyler Murray. Who do you have 10?
My 10th, I have Brock Purdy then.
Okay. We'll bust through the rest of these. 11, I have Jordan Love, probably higher than you do.
Ooh. 11, I have Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Now, Justin Fields showed me something last year with nothing around him.
Yeah.
And they went out this offseason and they got him DJ Moore. That's a really good move, and we've seen a formula here, right, in the NFL. Yeah. You know it with Jalen Hurts. He didn't take off until he got A.J. Brown. Tua Tagovailoa didn't take off until he got Tyreek Hill for a little bit.
Yep.
And Josh Allen didn't take off until he got Stephon Diggs.
I didn't see much from Fields except running last year. They didn't even run a lot of pass plays. And their pass plays were very simple pass plays.
So that is definitely a conversation that is out there about him. But, do an eye on football and seeing almost every play of all these games and all the touchdowns is what I'm saying. There was a few big throws by Justin Fields.
No, I mean, he's got a good arm. There's no doubt about it.
But the environment around him last year was crap.
He also has that C on his helmet, and there's never, ever been a good Chicago Bears quarterback, and I don't know if he can break that trend. I'm high on Jordan Love going into this season. I think he's going to be really good. I think he actually has some weapons around him. I know they weren't enough for Aaron Rodgers. So, okay, so we're at 10.
No, we're at 12.
Wait. Okay, so who do you have after Fields?
I have Hurts, Stafford, Kirk, Dak, Geno, Goff, Carr, Kyler, Daniel Jones, Brock Purdy was my 10. Fields was 11.
Yeah, so Fields was 11. Okay, so
now we're at 12.
So Fields is my 12.
Okay, my 12th is, oh boy, Baker Mayfield. Don't love it, but he's won a playoff game before.
Can I sell you on Kyle Trask? Can anyone out there going to buy a little Kyle Trask action in Tampa Bay? Why not?
You could make a pitch. I'm not going to listen.
He's a second-round pick. He's going to play at some point. He's twice the size of Baker Mayfield. Incredibly productive at Florida. You hear great things about him. Arians has always said nice things about him. I think they ought to look at Trask because I don't know where they're going with Baker Mayfield.
Let's get Bruce Arians on the line, or let's get Bruce Arians. Give him a scotch. He'll definitely take it. Let's see what he says about him when he's not the coach of the team. Or not. I don't even think he's with the team anymore.
Did he leave the team? I thought he was. Check that. I think Bruce Arians is still.
So he's still in that whatever front office sideline kind of role.
So okay, that's 12.
Senior football consultant.
Yeah.
Tells me.
My next one. I'm actually going to take a risk here. I'm going to put Bryce Young at my next spot, 13, ahead of the Bucs duo.
He is my 13th quarterback as well, Bryce Young.
Wait. Okay. So I'm trying to figure. Oh, you haven't done Jordan Love yet. Okay.
Nope.
14, I did Trask Mayfield. I put them together. I don't know why. I don't really want to break down the Bucs depth chart at quarterback. Who's your 14?
14 then would be Jordan Love. I was impressed with what Darius Big Play Slay had to say about him after that one quarter that he did go up against the Eagles. But I'll put Love in there at 14.
Love's got skills. I mean, he has the talent to be much higher on this list.
And also, I don't disagree with you. But the reason why I did go Young in front of Love is I've seen more of Young. Where Love, he's playing at Utah State, didn't really see him that much, and he's barely played so far in the NFL.
You know, the Panthers also do not have a great team around Bryce Young. So
Miles Sanders is going to be used a lot this year.
And I think adding Thielen might help him. But
he's a number 2 receiver at best now.
Good defense, good coaching staff, so he should be okay. I'll just do my last two. Sam Howell, I have a 15. I'm actually into Sam Howell. Washington Commanders. And then, who do you have 15?
15, I have Sam Howell. Then we both have Ritter, 16.
Yeah, but I don't hate Desmond Ritter either. I'm not so down on Desmond Ritter because I think they're not going to ask him to do anything in Atlanta. Put it this way.
I have no expectations for Sam Howell or Desmond Ritter this year. But you look at both those teams, they're starting to come together, more so the Commanders and the Falcons. But the Falcons have some young names on both sides of the ball. The Commanders, when I say they could be a sneaky team, I'm not saying they could go to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they could win a playoff game. But they can make the playoffs and maybe replace the Giants this year if Sam Howell's just competent, because they have a lot of names on both sides of the ball.
Yes, I think it's going to be tough for them. They're in such a weird situation with ownership and everything going on. Like they're trying to rebuild, but they might need to. They're trying to stay good, but they really need to rebuild. So I think they're caught in between.
But you look at the names that they have: Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and then defensively, I know Chase Young is not panned out, and they declined his fifth-year option, but they got a ton of guys in that front seven.
Yeah, and Brian Robinson, a running back, is very good.
And it's amazing to me how they still haven't figured out quarterback. I know it's tough because the Commanders aren't this desirable organization, and maybe they will be that again once Dan Snyder is officially out and Josh Harris comes in. But Rivera, this is a big year for him, and I think he's on the hot seat because he's kind of lost me where you want to build the team, then go get the quarterback, and then he says, oh, now we got to build the team again. And they just have never made the right decision at quarterback or have actually intended to get their quarterback of the future.
You know what? They've intended to do it, but they have not done it the right way. I totally agree with that. But Howell never should have been around in the fifth round. You saw him in North Carolina. First of all, he ran like crazy.
Well, when he returned, he was going into that year prior.
Yeah.
He was talked about being a number 1 overall pick.
Absolutely. And he was that productive. He's not a big guy. So I think that is why he fell. But fifth round was way too small. And by the way, what's wrong with Desmond Ritter? Give me a little Desmond Ritter handing the ball off 30 times to Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, now
you guys won. There's nothing wrong with Desmond Ritter. I mean, I think he's a serviceable middle-of-the-pack quarterback.
I do find it funny. You say Desmond Ritter won, but then yesterday you were like, oh, Luke Fickell. What does he want? He was the coach of that team at Cincinnati.
Oh, well, we'll get it. Actually, let's do that next. Give us a call, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. If you disagree with our NFC quarterback list, I have Dak number 2. Zach laughed when I said that.
I put him at 4.
I mean, Dak Prescott, I don't know. People just give so much expectations to Cowboys quarterbacks,
But
and I think
also,
it's unfair.
He gets hurt a lot, too. And there's a lot of interceptions last season.
Last season was a disaster. Half the interceptions were on his terrible receivers. It's going to be better this year. Don't ask me why. I just
When did you become a Cowboys apologist?
I like Dak.
You do?
I do like Dak.
Well, I don't dislike Dak the person.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Dak is the definition of a very good quarterback, just not someone that I could say he's a great quarterback.
I totally understand what you're saying, but I think that people, because he's a Cowboys quarterback, are unfairly critical of him, including the person who normally sits in that chair.
Oh, Maggie?
I think that a lot of people. No, I'm not going to single out Maggie. Just say Dak, it's Super Bowl or bust.
Maggie would have taken Dak in Buffalo for years before they got Josh Allen.
Well, no, she's spoiled with Josh Allen. But I think people say they look at the Cowboys and say, you know what, this team has to get the Super Bowl or it's a disappointment. And maybe that's true, but
they need to get to an NFC Championship game this year. It's a disappointment.
Look at this list we're putting together. The NFC quarterbacks. These are not Super Bowl quarterbacks. I mean, Jared Goff's 5 on this list.
Well, a lot of these quarterbacks right now are higher up than they'll ever be because of the state of this conference. And that even puts more pressure on Dak Prescott to get the job done because outside of Philly and the 49ers, not a lot of teams that you look at and go, wow, that's a great team in the NFC.
Nope. But that being said, we can't predict anything. Watch the NFC kill it this year and the AFC disappoint. Just like the AFC West was the biggest disappointment ever last year. We all thought they were going to be 4 super teams, and they were not at all. So you never know.
So is the Perloff prediction this year?
Yeah.
Is the against the grain prediction? If I'm trying to get into the cabeza of Andrew Perloff, you're
Good
going
luck.
Washington Commanders against the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl this year?
No, get out of here.
That's what I thought you were going.
I will tell you one thing. The NFC is going to be better than you think because last year everyone's like, oh, the AFC is going to destroy the NFC, and the NFC won the head-to-head of the whole conference against the other conference. The AFC was wildly disappointing last year. I think they're going to disappoint this year. I don't think the AFC East and AFC North are nearly as good as everyone thinks. But I mean, I'm seeing people predict 10 wins for 4 AFC East teams. The math doesn't work out.
Well, you're a math guy. I'm not a math guy.
Yeah, I mean, but the entire NFL intelligentsia, unless you do every matchup head-to-head, makes these win predictions, and they make no sense. That's like that's a typical August thing. You know what? I got this team at 13 wins, this team at 12, and nobody has them at any team at 2 and 15.
It's like Oprah during Christmas time. You get a gift. You get a gift. You get a gift. You get a gift. You get 13 wins. You get 13 wins. You get 13 wins.
All right, I want to shift gears next segment and get into, we have another list. We're actually bringing back another thing from yesterday's show. Yesterday, we had a list ranking the Big Ten coaches. You mentioned Luke Fickell was awfully high.
As he should be.
Well, let's get to the big leagues then. Let's talk about the real power conference. Let's rank the coaches in the SEC. We'll do that next, right here on the Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Zach Gelb is in for Maggie today here on the Maggie and Perloff Show, CBS Sports Radio. Of course, you can watch us and see Zach. Maybe should we do a blocking display later? CBS Sports Radio YouTube page. Join the Weedos and the Purple Drankers. No blocking display.
You want me to do what?
A blocking display?
Oh. You want more of that? I don't think so. I don't think you want that smoke.
I'm 6'3", 6'4", 195. Zach is... What are you,
6'4", 280.
6'4",
Some
280.
people say I'm 6'5". Badlands Booker told me, the competitive eater, that there's no way I'm 6'4". I have to be taller.
Wait, what is his eater's name?
Badlands Booker. He is enormous.
Is he a good eater?
Oh, he's a competitive eater.
You know, I think that I missed my calling because I think I could have done that. There are a lot of skinny eaters. Kobayashi's skinny.
I will say that's the most annoying thing in the world. When you have a skinny guy that can eat a lot. Because I just wonder how does your metabolism is that quick where you don't gain that much weight?
I don't know that mine is. I don't eat like that. I don't eat 70 hot dogs for lunch.
But don't get me wrong. You go to the gym to the basketball court a lot. It's not, though, that you're that active, right?
Oh, I'm pretty active. I
Are
run.
you?
I run.
Oh, okay.
I'm
you
a
run
jogger.
every day?
No, I run like 3 times a week. I play basketball twice a week. Do a little lifting.
Like, let's say if I've never seen a photo of you.
Yeah.
And I never watch a YouTube stream, and I've just heard from this show.
Right.
With how much food that you've put down, my vision of you would be 5'9" and about like 300 pounds.
Sean Marash, in other words.
That's not nice.
Well, no, he sounds like he's that. I'm not saying he is that.
I mean, he's not far off.
He's not quite that. No, you're right. I do sound. But I work out pretty hard. I did a basketball boot camp today with Big Cat. We sweated for 2 hours.
Really?
We did a workout. It was a lot of fun.
Big Cat 2 hours on a basketball court?
Oh, yeah. We were working it today, too. Because
how many times did he throw up?
No. He's in good shape now. It was about 1,000 degrees outside, so it's good because you get really loose really fast. My basketball game is actually surprisingly good right now. For the summer, I like playing in the winter because I'm more of an indoor player. I can't deal with the elements, any sun, any wind, heat, excuses. But I'm feeling good right now. How do you work? What's your workout plan? Do you lift because you're such a big dude?
So I vacillate on if I lift. Like, I'm not in a lifting mode right now, but I'll probably pick that back up because I haven't lifted in a while. But I do an hour, bare minimum on the elliptical a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
So Monday through Friday. I try to squeeze in one weekend.
Do you watch TV or listen to podcasts? What do you do?
Music.
Yeah,
okay. A lot of Springsteen, a lot of Dave Matthews, a lot of Jay-Z.
Well, I don't know.
All over the place.
I didn't expect you to go from Springsteen to Dave Matthews to Jay-Z.
All over the place.
But
the Killers.
I love it. That's awesome, dude. When you do lift, do you bench or squat, do the big ones? What's your routine?
I don't really like benching or squatting.
This is such a cliche, by the way. Maggie Gray is out, and I'm sitting here basically asking Zach what he benches.
I do a lot of curls. I'll bench a little bit. I'm not a big fan of bench pressing. I'll usually do it with the dumbbells instead if I want to get a bench press kind of feel.
You're not going to believe this because I am super skinny and not nearly as strong as you. I'm a pretty good bench presser. Like, that is the one exercise I could max
225 for Perloff?
I could easily do
wow.
I could probably max around 250. When I was in college, we did a lot. That was a long time ago. But
so you could bench press. Well, Samter's not 225, but you think if Samter laid on top of you, could bench press him?
On the other side of the glass, Stu and Samter both kind of are not tall guys. They're a little more compact. I bet you guys could bench a lot. Stu, what do you
I haven't benched since like high school. No, it's been forever.
No one has ever called Stu or Samter kind of tall guys.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No. They're saying they're sort of compact. I'm saying the short arms. Samter, if he got after it, I'll bet you could put up a lot of weight, dude.
I mean, like 25 years ago. I haven't lifted anything in a long time.
I'm the 25 years ago guy.
Yeah. Now you're lifting.
Back in my prime, back in my day.
Even when I could lift, I could lift proportionate to my body size pretty decently, but I was never like a big lifter. I could never lift like the total amount wasn't very high, but for proportion to my body size, sure.
The biggest pain in the ass was when we have to do football 2-a-days in the summer.
Right.
And if it got too hot, they would go indoors, and rarely, but if it was like really excruciating hot, and they would bring out these boxes. And if you're a running back or a wide receiver jumping up on the box
jumps, I love those.
Is easy. But when you're a big fat offensive lineman, there is no need for me to have to jump up on one of those boxes.
Okay, you are buddies with former Temple offensive lineman and all-pro NFL tackle Deion Dawkins.
Yeah.
Now, he's an exceptional athlete. I'm sure you watch him practice and stuff. He's well over 300. He could do that stuff in his sleep, though, right?
Easily.
I mean, what's it like? I mean, can you describe that athleticism?
So he works out. This guy AK who trained the Pouncey brothers down in Florida, and he'll send me some Snapchats or I'll see some stuff on Instagram of them working out. Their workout routine, just in the morning, is more than most people will ever do in their lifetime.
In the off season, you mean?
In just the off season.
And does he have any trouble keeping the weight on during the season?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He looks in better shape in season, but I think that's the case for most athletes.
I am wowed by offensive linemen in the NFL. Have you ever been around Lane Johnson?
Yeah. Oh, he's
gigantic.
He's a mountain of a man.
He's gigantic even for offensive linemen, but he moves like Samter. It's insane, the combination of size and speed these guys have.
What about Jonathan Ogden?
Well,
You've been to that guy never missed a Super Bowl party now, but Jonathan Ogden is crazy.
Biggest man I've ever been around. I used to do a lot of East Coast NFL games, and I would be down in the bowels. And Jonathan Ogden is a giant among football players who are all huge.
And he's such a nice guy too.
Yeah, but he was not when he was playing. He was tough. I mean, he was nice to the media and stuff, but he was tough on the field. He's arguably probably one of the top 10 tackles of all time.
Yeah, Mauler.
Yeah. So what we do in the weight room a lot different than those guys. All right, we're gonna actually pause on this SEC coaches list. You have an interesting issue with this list.
Oh.
You say one guy is way too high. It's not who I thought you were going to say at all.
And he's pretty low on the list to begin with, but he's way too high.
And, I hate to say it, he's got a national title, so I'm not quite sure I agree with you, but we'll get into that
John
next.
Gruden won a Super Bowl too. That's all I'm going to say.
John Gruden could coach some football. Well, we're not going to
Overrated coach. Overrated. Guy wins one Super Bowl.
No.
Takes a roster over. What did he do after that Super Bowl? Nada.
Well, John Gruden could coach offense, though. I mean, I think he could.
As a head coach, though, overrated.
All right, you know what? It's Friday in the summer. We're not gonna do a John Gruden segment here. John Gruden, he's not even in the NFL. He never will be again.
Hey, he was working out with Derek Carr with the Saints a little while back. I saw that story.
And what did Derek Carr say about him? He said, "Who wouldn't want to learn from John Gruden?"
Does Derek Carr ever say a bad word about anybody? I've never heard that guy say a bad word about anybody.
Except the Raiders. The Raiders made him cry.
They made my wife cry. Oh, they made me cry. That guy cries every offseason, I feel like, Derek Carr.
Okay, I could tell a quick John Gruden story, right? Because he's not going to be back in the media or working again anytime soon, is he?
Who knows? Urban Meyer back on television real quickly.
I once used him at Sports Illustrated for a draft article to quote him, and I was asking him about
run Spider 2Y banana good.
I was asking about Andy Dalton it was that year. It was Kaepernick and Dalton and a bunch of big time quarterbacks.
Let me tell you what, man.
He called Andy Dalton about 7 different last names. And then he interchanged. He said, listen, what he did at Texas A&M, Andy went to TCU. And then later on in the interview, he was killing it down in Lubbock at Texas Tech. And then
called the Horned Frogs, the Horny Frogs, probably.
He said TCU the first. Then he basically assigned him to every Texas college throughout the interview, which I was amazed at. I'm like, you just said TCU 5 minutes ago, and now you're saying he's the Baylor quarterback? What's going on here?
He was a great Minuteman at UMass, let me tell you.
But, and you're not going to be surprised. Gruden was a great quote because he'd always say something positive. So if you had to do an article where you needed a good quote about any quarterback, call Gruden. Okay, whatever. We're not going to do John Gruden today. We have a lot to do here. Coming up next, we're going to rank the SEC coaches. Well, actually, CBS is going to do that. We're going to evaluate it and much more. But first, here's a sports update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
Well, it's not often the NBA Summer League takes center stage, but tonight is one of those exceptions with all eyes on the matchup between the Spurs and Hornets as Victor Wembanyama makes his debut. His fans will be able to get their first look at the top pick overall with 7'4", with guard skills and has been hyped as a generational player. The second pick overall will also be on display in the Hornets' Brandon Miller. The Reds have been rolling with wins in 5 in a row and 20 of 24. They're in Milwaukee tonight, facing their biggest challenge yet with the Brewers just 2 games back in the Central. The Reds have yet to lose with Andrew Abbott on the mound, a perfect 6-0 as he goes against former Cy Young Award winner Corbin Burns. The Mets take a 5-game winning streak to San Diego with Cy Young winner Justin Verlander on the mound. The NL East leading Braves back in action after a night off, and they're in Tampa to take on the AL East leading Rays, who have suddenly dropped 5 in a row. Johnny Cooks, the number 2 pick overall in the 1982 NFL Draft, has died at the age of 64. He played 10 years in the league and won a Super Bowl with the Giants. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Summer is officially here, but CBS Sports Radio never goes on vacation. We'll keep you company all season long with the most entertaining content and all the breaking news you need to know. Keep us locked in on your local Odyssey affiliate, Sirius XM Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
back on Maggie and Perloff. Zach Gelb is sitting in. All right. Yesterday, CBS Sports put out a list of the top Big Ten college football coaches. Actually, they ranked all the coaches. Today, for popular demand, they're doing the SEC. Now, I was very surprised at the very beginning of this list. I went one in, and I was already surprised. They're ranking the...
Were you shocked, though, or just surprised?
I was pretty shocked because I've actually seen... They're not the first... This is Barrett Sallee of CBSSports.com.
Yeah. Pain in the ass Atlanta Braves fan, Barrett Sallee.
I know. Trust me. I've been there. And the Braves being so good makes it even worse. As a Phillies fan, don't like that.
I want to mute him just when he talks about the Braves.
So there's a lot of people who have been ranking SEC coaches. It's something that we do in the media. He has Nick Saban number one. Most people go Kirby Smart, Georgia.
I think it's very similar right now to the Andy Reid, Bill Belichick conversation.
Okay.
Where Nick Saban compared to Kirby Smart all time, it's clearly Nick Saban. But entering this year, even I would say I'd rather have Andy Reid with his team than Bill Belichick with his team. So it doesn't mean that all time that you've had Andy Reid usurp Bill Belichick because he's not even close. And all time, clearly, Smart has not usurped Nick Saban. But heading into this year, Kirby Smart's beat him the last 2 years when it's mattered. So, yeah, I would go Georgia over Alabama.
I don't think that's a perfect analogy because Andy Reid's older like Bill Belichick. I don't think people... Do people think Andy Reid's the best coach in the NFL right now?
A lot of these lists now, when you go into the season, I see a lot that have Andy 1, Belichick 2.
Of active coaches?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're saying coming into this football season, like you're going to put those guys over Kyle Shanahan and put them over Sean McVay and the young guns?
Oh, yeah, still, yeah.
Ooh.
Kyle Shanahan is so stubborn on picking a quarterback. That's why he doesn't win a Super Bowl. And McVay, that guy wants to retire.
Well, Bill Belichick,
every other day.
There's no way. Bill Belichick might be the best coach, but his team is irrelevant for the most part. So I don't understand.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You put Bill Belichick on the 49ers.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I think a lot of
You don't think Bill Belichick could do what Kyle Shanahan has done?
I don't think the 49ers have never had a quarterback.
But they have this loaded roster.
Well, first of all, you don't know that roster is really loaded. Maybe they have a bunch of good coaches, and they've had some really good coaches.
But that offensive line is incredible, anchored by Trent Williams. When you look at Deebo Samuel, who's really damn good, you have Christian McCaffrey. Defensively, you have names all over the place.
Listen, they had Christian McCaffrey the second half of last year. It's not like they've always had Christian McCaffrey.
But you don't need a bell cow back in the NFL anyway these days.
Right, so I don't know that roster's been that talented. I mean, Deebo Samuel's a second-round pick.
That's a really talented roster.
No, I think it's part of the reason is because Kyle Shanahan puts the offense in great position to succeed, and Nick Bosa is such a terror that everyone plays well around him. I'm not so sure that they're that good. And also, Trent Williams hasn't been there that long either. So Shanahan's done it with lots of guys. I'm not arguing Shanahan versus Reid, but I don't think...
Been Joe Staley there for a while?
I think Kirby Smart right now is... undoubtedly on the top of the college football mountain. 2 titles, is killing the recruiting trail and just doing nothing but producing NFL players. Whereas Andy Reid, I'm not so sure it's the same way.
We saw for a little bit Dabo Swinney pull the throne and even take the crown, and then eventually Saban gets it back. The last 2 years, what Kirby Smart has done, right now entering 2023, I'm with you. It's Smart over Saban, but I'm not saying it's leaps and bounds, and it wouldn't shock me this year if Alabama ends up having a better year than Georgia.
You know, it's interesting, too. Alabama, they overturn their offensive coordinator all the time.
Yeah.
That's interesting. They're bringing in Tommy Rees. I was a little surprised by this choice. I don't want to judge it yet, but they obviously have had Lane Kiffin. They've had Sark. Daboll. They've had so much talent come through there. Yeah, Bill O'Brien most recently. I'm not sure Rees is going to do the job there. Okay, so number 2 is Kirby Smart. Number 3, Brian Kelly, LSU, I'm totally fine with that. Where do you stand on Brian Kelly's the 3rd best coach in the SEC?
Brian Kelly was someone that got clowned for an entire offseason because of the family stuff and because of the cringeworthy recruiting videos of him dancing. The guy is a really good football coach. He did a fantastic job at Notre Dame, and that was much needed, and then goes to LSU, and in year 1 gets him in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, no, he's a very good coach. I think there's also his style rubs some people the wrong way. He's a disciplinarian. He's in your face to the players, but he's obviously can coach. Last year, I thought was a very good year for LSU.
It's not the first time that a football coach could be called a jerk, and you could still be a phenomenal football coach.
All right, now the list gets interesting. Number 4, and there is no more interesting coach than this dude, Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss number 4. I totally get what Barrett's doing here, but it was interesting to me that he had him ahead of Josh Heupel, who's coming off that great year at Tennessee.
And was really good at UCF, too.
Yeah, and ahead of a bunch of other guys on here, too. Obviously, we'll get into some of the other guys later. But I thought 4 was just maybe a smidge high for Lane.
I'm not irate about it. If you want to tell me it's Heupel, sure. We need to see Heupel do it longer at Tennessee. But, yeah, I can't crush Barrett for this.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Lane is – I think there's a limit of how high you can take that program. I don't think Ole Miss is ever going to win the title. So I think Lane is doing a great job with what he has there.
And that's why I was surprised, even though things are going well for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, that he didn't take the Auburn job this offseason.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're curious how long he holds on there. Okay, number 5, Josh Heupel. I think Joe Milton's going to be a star this year. Their quarterback, he runs a sort of an Art Briles Baylor offense. It's really hard to adjust to. I'm very curious. I think they play Georgia this year. That is a team that maybe can knock off Georgia. It's going to be tough, but I have no problem with him being 5.
Yeah, they just lost so much last year. I know the system is talked about so much at Tennessee with the offense, but I just think Tennessee's right there, but they're just behind. It's Georgia 1 for me going into this year, Alabama 2, and then LSU 3.
Yeah, no, definitely.
They're right there in that 4 spot of the best team.
Oh, in the SEC. Okay. Number 6, Mark Stoops. Listen.
Incredibly underrated.
Yeah, I mean,
he is phenomenal.
That team is always going to play tough. Love Liam Cohen, their offensive coordinator, back from the Rams. Kentucky's going to do – I think Levis got a lot of attention last year, almost taking away from how tough Stoops has that team play.
And they've put a lot of players in the NFL. Josh Allen, the defensive end, who's the linebacker who's with the Jaguars, he was a top 10 pick.
Yep.
Benny Snell was a really good running back for them. He's done – it's weird. This is what I'll say, and this shows you how good of a job that Mark Stoops has done. He was able last year to challenge John Calipari when Calipari said that they're a basketball school, which everyone knows Kentucky's a basketball school. And people are actually rocking and rolling with Mark Stoops, and Cal basically had to come out and apologize. That would never happen 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago at Kentucky.
Nope. He's definitely a good coach, and he's loyal to the program, which I like too. All right, now it gets really interesting. Number 7, Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher. Zach, what do you think?
Too high. I know he's won a national championship. He has a loaded roster. Last year, they were a disaster. Just for starters, Shane Beamer, who beat him last year and has done a really good job the last 2 years turning around South Carolina. Shane Beamer, just for starters, should be in front of Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo, what he's done in the past deserves praise, but he has not come anywhere close to meeting those expectations outside of 1 year at Texas A&M.
So you're saying a guy who has a national title under his belt should be lower than 7 in a conference ranking? I mean, that's pretty high. I'm just saying, I mean, how good is the conference?
It was in a different
Jimbo?
conference.
Yeah, but how good is this conference if Jimbo is in top 7? Now, listen, I think they brought in Bobby Petrino.
They did, yeah.
Whew. They have a lot of talent there. I mean, that program could do something.
That could also.
I'm not too high on them, but they could do something.
That could be a big success. Where I don't think they're going to win the SEC, but they have the talent where they could be the 4th or 5th best team, maybe even as high as 3 in the SEC. But if that does not go well, Jimbo is so pretentious, and then you have Petrino there as well. That could be fun to watch from afar and kind of just see the quotes that come on out, especially with a lot of fans that are already tired of Jimbo Fisher. And the only reason he's probably still there is because of the recruiting and then also because of that big, fat, lucrative contract that he has.
Yeah, I totally agree. Hot seat for sure. Okay, next, Hugh Freeze, Auburn. Now, Hugh Freeze, we all know, can coach an offense. There's no doubt about it. He was really, really good at Liberty. You know, he brings a lot to the table here, a lot of background. I don't know. I feel like Auburn is an interesting program, too. Auburn obviously won the title with Cam Newton, but how far can you take Auburn in today's SEC?
You could win a national championship at Auburn.
You sure you could still do that?
You could win a national championship at Auburn, but you need to bring in someone that they actually believe in. And I think, at least in my conversation with Cole Kublik, who played at Auburn, where he said this is the first time in a while where you see alignment in that athletic department, where the last football coach that they did hire coming over from Boise State, it was, okay, you got rid of Gus Malzahn and you bring in your 4th or 5th choice. Not that Hugh Freeze was the first choice, but he was in that top 3.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the Hugh Freeze hire. The only thing I will say And I think they already are running his Twitter account. Just take the phone out of his hand, all right?
Oh, boy.
Make sure you know where all those messages are going to.
A little bit of a pass there. All right, number 9, you like Shane Beamer, South Carolina. I
Big
like
fan.
him, too. I'm so curious about Spencer Rattler this year. All the skills, their quarterback. Does he play himself back into the high draft conversation?
I don't think he'll play himself into a first-round pick. And at the end of the year, and they have a change of the offensive coordinator with Marcus Satterfield going to Nebraska and Dowell's Loggins now coming in to be the OC at South Carolina. I don't think he'll play himself back into a first-round pick. But remember, Beamer was at Oklahoma and knows the Jalen Hurts story really well. Maybe he could get into that second, third round conversation. But they finished out the year really strong with victories up against Tennessee and also Clemson. So let's see if that momentum can carry over.
Okay, number 10, Sam Pittman, Arkansas. Sam Pittman was hot for a little while. 10 seems low when I first look at it because Sam Pittman is somebody who's well thought of. But then again, listen, is Arkansas going to make any real noise in this conference?
Probably not. I like KJ Jefferson, but I think there's only so far Sam Pittman can take this Arkansas program.
Okay, the last really significant one on
But I
here
hope they do well because the Pig Suey Chan is the best chan in college football.
Number 11, Billy Napier, Florida. Now, Florida is a program that should have a coach who is in the top 10 of the rankings of the SEC. They should be a powerhouse. But I like Billy Napier. I think he's got a long road ahead of him.
They need to get it right. When Dan Mullen arguably could be your best coach since Urban Meyer, that's not good.
It's one of those programs like Nebraska back in the day and Oklahoma. Well, Oklahoma.
They're getting into that category.
Yeah.
When will Florida be back?
Yeah, like Florida State, you know.
We've been asking about it for Texas, Miami, and Nebraska for years.
Okay, number 12, Eli Drinkowitz, one of the best quotes, the Missouri coach. He'll say some interesting things. Number 13, Clark Lee Vanderbilt. Let's see.
It's a tough job.
How many teams are there in the SEC? Now, number 14. Zach Arnett, Mississippi State. I'm a big Will Arnett fan, so I'm going to count that. Let's see. Do we talk about Texas and Sark? Or they're not there yet?
Well, they're not there yet. So,
but I'm curious. I'm curious how they'll do this year, and if Sark will be the coach when they get into the SEC.
That is a team that anything you tell me about how their season's going to end, it would not surprise me.
I know they're so hard.
I could see them going to the college football playoff in their final year in the Big 12, and I could also see Quinn Ewers bottoming out, and then you go to Arch Manning, and he maybe just isn't ready. That nothing surprises me with Texas.
Absolutely, and Brent Venables at Oklahoma. I'm curious if he gets to coach in the SEC. I don't think they're going to be very patient there because they're going to watch Lincoln Riley just rattling off wins at USC.
It's a big year for him. Sark may be safe just because you have Arch Manning next year. For Venables, everyone said this guy's got to get a head coaching job. This guy's got to get a head coaching job. And last year was underwhelming.
Not good. All right. Coming up next, Mike Sampson, what does this say on the rundown here? The New York Jets, they're in the news in the summer. People are excited about the Jets. Well, let's get it out of our system.
That little Aaron Rodgers fella, they have a thing or two to
Let's
do.
get it out of our system because I don't know if we're going to be talking about them nearly as much in the fall, but they might add another offensive weapon to help out Aaron Rodgers. We'll get into that next. Zach Gelb sitting in for Maggie Gray right here on the Maggie and Perloff Show. We will be right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Anybody has a financial security that they can do the right thing in that case? Because it's not the wrong thing to keep the ball. That's what most of us would do. Am I being totally
doing the
weak
right
here?
thing is like, going to a soup kitchen or donating to charity. Giving a souvenir to a soon-to-be multimillionaire is not the right thing.
I don't know if it's necessarily the right thing to do to give it back, because if I'm in your shoes, I might keep it. I wouldn't feel good about it. I don't think.
13-year-old Mike Samter is absolutely giving that ball to Derek Jeter or whoever. 40-whatever-year-old Samter. There's
You got a
bills to
mortgage,
pay. You
yeah.
have responsibilities. You got kids.
Then what are you doing at a Reds game on a Wednesday night? You got all these responsibilities and all these bills to pay.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Zach Gelb sitting in for Maggie Gray. Maggie is finishing up her vacation. We'll be back on Monday. She missed a lot this week. Victor Wembanyama, legal trouble, according to Mike Samter, with Britney Spears. Tom Brady dating Kim Kardashian. And
potentially.
Well, I'm just going with it. I'm running with it. I can tell when people are in love, Zach. Don't get in the way of my imagining Tom Brady well, not imagining, like graphically imagining.
Can I ask you a question here?
Yeah.
Do you ever watch the Jersey Shore?
Oh, of course.
So the Jersey Shore, Sammy Sweetheart, after an 11-year absence, is finally coming back this summer. They announced a few weeks ago. They used to have a smush room in the Jersey Shore where there'd be some bam chicka wamp wamp time after their nights out. Do you think there's that room at the Michael Rubin party? You think they have a smush room?
No. Do you think they do?
Well, if you have a couple that's mingling at the party or getting set up at the party.
You're wearing all white, so I don't think you're going to be doing all that.
You could potentially blend in.
So there are also a lot of NFL players. At the Michael Rubin, who's an NBA guy, a lot of NFL players there. I don't think this guy was there, though. Dalvin Cook was not at the Michael Rubin party, was he?
No, but I did see a tweet from his agency yesterday that they were in Florida with the eye emoji out there.
Right, so they're loving Miami, but then there's all these reports that Dalvin Cook to the Jets is picking up traction, too. Why is Dalvin Cook being linked to the entire AFC East? Miami, big. The Jets now is getting traction, and we've also heard the Patriots at certain times this offseason. But I feel like the tide feels to be shifting, despite what you mentioned about the Miami tweet, towards the Jets lately.
I've, from the start, have only talked about two teams. It's been the Dolphins, it's been the Jets. Everyone and their mother has talked about the Dolphins even before he got released.
Well, the Dolphins reportedly tried to trade for him in Minnesota.
At the draft. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Jets, I think Rodgers wants him. They were in the same division. He knows how good Dalvin Cook could be. You look at the Jets running back room. Breece Hall was going to be Rookie of the Year, but he's coming back from injury. We don't know if he's going to be ready week 1. Michael Carter is an okay player, but he's not phenomenal. So you look at a need there. If you're all in for the next 2 years, why not? You have the money. Go give Dalvin Cook, what is it, be $6-7 million? I don't even know what it would be for 1 year. And you bring him there and you load up on talent. You can never have enough running backs.
So I don't understand. That's all true. Why not Miami then? Miami has the same exact reasoning.
Well, you look at the running backs. They have Raheem Mostert. They have Jeff Wilson Jr., who are, but they're Mike McDaniel guys.
I hear you, but they're not Dalvin Cook. And by the way,
they're not.
Cook was also linked to Buffalo, ironically, where his brother plays. All these teams need a running back.
You know what Buffalo is? Outside of Von Miller, everyone gets linked to Buffalo now, and no one ever goes there. I'm serious. Christian McCaffrey, linked to Buffalo because of Brandon Beane. Didn't happen. Odell Beckham, linked to Buffalo. Didn't happen. We link everyone to Buffalo right now, especially running backs, too, because there's a need there, and they never end up signing the guy.
Gosh,
or making the move.
I don't remember Odell Beckham to Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, it was talked about. Are you being sarcastic?
No, honestly, I don't remember that was a big part.
Von Miller had like 9,000 posts.
He was going, and also obviously DeAndre Hopkins to Buffalo has been a thing too.
That was the one time where I usually understand your sarcasm. I thought that was sarcasm.
No, I didn't remember. I can't remember OBJ. I mean, OBJ linked himself to everywhere last year. So let's start with the Jets. Would Dalvin Cook put them over the top and make them a real AFC favorite?
I look at the Jets right now as a team that their fans should say Super Bowl contender. But if I gave you the 3 teams in the AFC that are Super Bowl contenders, they are not one of my top 3 teams. But if you throw in that weapon there, the Jets have an awesome defense. I know Rodgers struggles in the playoffs. You have Garrett Wilson, who's the reigning offensive Rookie of the Year, and you put Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook in that backfield. As long as that offensive line holds up, that's a pretty damn good team.
Wait, let me guess. Your 3 contenders are obviously Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo?
Yeah, but I may not pick Buffalo to win the AFC East, if that makes any sense.
I hear you. No, it totally makes sense. I kind of, we could talk about Miami too, but I think the bottom line is a running back is really not going to me, move the needle on championship contender because Kansas City just had a late-round pick, Isaiah Pacheco, win the Super Bowl. The Eagles, basically Kenneth Gainwell was their guy by the end of the year. I don't think running back does that for a team.
So you don't need a bell cow back anymore, but you still need to run the football.
Yeah, but and also running the football is not just about the running back. It's about a lot of things.
Yeah, but is Rodgers really going to be running the ball that much?
No, I'm saying running the football is about scheme. It's about the offensive line. It's about the coach. So it's not like, oh, our running game is no good. Let's just get a guy who's ran for 1,200 yards before. There's so much more you have to do as a team to run the ball.
Okay, but here's why I would still do it. Breece Hall was sensational in the small sample size, but is coming off an injury. if he's not ready at the start of the season, or if he has to knock off a lot of rust, what's the harm in bringing in Dalvin Cook? See, the Jets are a team
I agree.
that they're all in right now. So if you're all in, you have this 2-year window. You have a team that has been so awful for so many years, outside of winning a Super Bowl with Joe Namath, right? Their most success was like back-to-back AFC championship games with Rex Ryan. The Jets are in an opportunity right now where they're actually a destination. And who has ever called the Jets a destination? Because people want to play with Aaron Rodgers, and if Dalvin Cook can go there, that just adds more ammunition for that team of being really damn good.
It does, but come on, we know what. Name a team, a championship contender that's added a running back and it's made the difference. I don't think it really has happened. You got one?
I'll give you one. I'm not saying it made a difference because they already had so much success, but Corey Dillon.
Yeah.
They won a Super Bowl, then missed the playoffs. Corey Dillon goes in there, they win back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah, not because of Corey Dillon.
He was pretty damn good, though.
He was good, but I cannot. I mean, listen, how many running backs have they churned through? Remember Jonas Graith ran for 200 yards in a game? They cut him the next week.
No,
this is the Patriots.
The law firm. Jarvis Green Ellis.
Trust me, I could go through all the Patriot running backs throughout the years.
8,000 of them. How can you remember all of them?
Antoine Smith.
Oh, Antoine Smith spelled Antowain. Yep.
I think it was Antwan.
Whatever. It was impossible to pronounce it the way it was spelled.
You had Corey Dillon, Stephen Ridley, Lawrence Maroney, Shane Vereen,
I love
Jonas Gray. You could Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. You could go through a ton of them.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean
James White.
Listen, just the last few years, Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris. You go on and on. Okay. So give us a call, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Would Dalvin Cook put the Jets over the top, or how about the Dolphins?
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you are Dalvin Cook, and he's from Florida, if you have Aaron Rodgers, let's say, recruiting you, because you know Rodgers wants him, who would you choose? Because it does feel as if every day there is a Dolphins or Jets report about Dalvin Cook. So I don't want to say it's down to two teams, but it does feel that way.
Yeah.
If you were Dalvin Cook, who would you decide?
I think the Jets are a better team, but I'm going to Miami because, listen, my personality, it's just built for South Beach. I'm at the club till 4 a.m, socializing. No, also, too, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Rodgers, and Nathaniel Hackett don't really, Aaron Jones runs for a lot of yards, but I don't know if they're going to feature Dalvin Cook the way he needs to be featured. Now, McDaniel in Miami, he can run the football. I know he's got those receivers, but I would try out Miami. And also, it's going to be warm in the beginning of the year. You don't have to deal with any cold weather. I just feel like Dalvin Cook would be really happy there.
Yeah, I think it's tough to turn down Rodgers. And also, I have a lot more confidence in Rodgers than Tua Tagovailoa, even though I've been pretty optimistic on Tua this offseason. Yeah. But you do look at the Dolphins. I just think they're a team that if Tua could stay healthy, they're absolutely loaded. With those two wide receivers, too, and then you throw Dalvin Cook in there, that could really be explosive.
Yeah, add a little Vic Fangio to run the defense with Jalen Ramsey, David Long. Yeah, they got a lot going on there. I mean, the problem is the AFC East is so loaded that they'll beat each other up. Okay.
And you know what?
Yeah.
The Jets coaching staff, they're under pressure this year because you have Robert Saleh. Now he has his quarterback. Nathaniel Hackett is coming on in. Is this going to be the Nathaniel Hackett redemption story this year? So there's some pressure on that coaching staff where, say what you want, Mike McDaniel, he creeps me out like no other coach in the NFL, but he was awesome last year with that team.
Absolutely. Okay. You can, of course, find us on CBS Sports Radio YouTube page. You can find us CBS Sports Radio, Sirius, Channel 158. Mike Samter, where can you find us on social now? Because I understand that world is changing for everybody. I know we're at Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. What is the latest news for the Maggie and Pearl social world?
The biggest issue I've always had with our Twitter profile was they have a character limit on profile names. So therefore, we were Maggie and Pearl. We couldn't be Maggie and Perloff. At one point, we were Maggie Perloff because there was no room for the and. So we kind of got screwed in that sense. But where we didn't get screwed was on IG and now on Threads, where we are officially Maggie and Perloff on Threads. So if you have a Threads account or you want to find us on Threads, you just go to Threads and look up Maggie and Perloff, and there we are.
That account will be around for like 3 weeks, let me tell you.
Stop. Threads, have you seen the numbers? Threads, of course, is Facebook, Instagram's new competitor. Twitter has had more downloads in the first week than any app ever. It just passed ChatGPT. It is a phenomenon. People are looking for a Twitter alternative. I think Threads is going to last. You're a little more skeptical here, Zach?
Well, here's what annoys me. You have all these like high and mighty people in the media just because they lost their blue check mark.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they hate Twitter. And I get it. Twitter has gone through some changes. I still use it. I still don't have a problem with Twitter. But you get all these like snobs in the media that are like, oh, I need to leave Twitter. And all they do is tweet all throughout the day. And now I have to see that they have this Threads account and they're posting about it on Twitter to get people over to Threads. And they're still going to tweet. I understand you could dip your toe in many different social media waters, but it's just the arrogance with people, my confidence in the media, where now all of a sudden it's like you can't be on Twitter. You need to go to this other place.
Wow. Local man with strong words on the Twitter Threads controversy. This is another social media app. So are you going on there?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But why not?
Because
you might as well have it, and then once Twitter goes away, which it will, then Threads will take over.
Twitter's not going anywhere. Twitter's not going away.
Well, you're probably right.
You just hate Musk.
But no, I don't care about Musk. I have no issue with Musk. My issue is that Twitter is a disseminator of information, right? Like Instagram is pictures, TikTok is dances, and stories and whatever. And Twitter is about, like, that's where you get news. That's where you get breaking news from, like, Woj and Schefter. Like, that's where you go for Twitter, is for information. And if you take away blue check marks outside of the schlubs who pay for it, whoever those people are who pay for the check marks, like, there's no way to verify who's real and who's not.
I have not run into any problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I've definitely run, especially around trade deadlines. It was much easier for people to be fake. And it's one thing to be a fake Schefter, because, like, whatever, you look at Schefter, you see the 5 million, 6 million, whatever it is, followers, and you can tell it's the real Schefter. But it's the guy who's like the local reporter who has 1,000 followers or whatever it is.
Can I call fraud alert here?
Sure.
Michael Samter. Fraud alert. I thought I was hallucinating last night, but I saw this on Facebook. Just downloaded Threads. If you're sick of Musk and want an alternative to Twitter, Threads is the new hot spot. You just said you didn't hate Musk. I don't miss anything.
I don't care about Musk as a person. I care about what he's doing to Twitter.
So last night I was at dinner, and a buddy of mine is on Threads now, and he showed it to me. It looks like the same thing as Instagram.
Oh, no, it looks the same thing as Twitter.
Yeah, it looks more like Twitter.
It's an exact copy, and they're suing them, as they should. It's an exact copy of Twitter.
So when I saw it, it looked just like Instagram to me.
It looks like a blend between Twitter and Instagram for sure. But it's funny because Musk, like a few months ago when he fired all the Twitter people, was like, good luck finding some place where you're going to be valued. And then here they are.
So just a minute, you hate Elon Musk.
I don't like what he's doing with Twitter. I don't care about him as a person. SpaceX is awesome, right? I love Teslas. I hope to buy a Tesla when I leave the city. I have no issue with Musk as a person. I like Twitter the way it was before he took over.
So what is our Threads account, by the way? I'm sorry, did you tell? It's Maggie and Perloff?
Yes, it's Maggie and Perloff, so it's threads.net at Maggie and Perloff.
Threads, okay. Yeah, tweet that out. I want to clear the palate of this. Because you forgot, Zach, you're a Patriots fan. You forgot one of my favorite Patriots running backs of all time, because he was also an Eagles running back, and this might be
who, Kevin Falk?
No. Let's go to Jeff in Pittsburgh, who is reminding us of a great Patriots running back. Jeff, what do you got?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. As I sit here on a Friday enjoying my left-handed cigarette, as they call it, the old-timers call it, I can't but help think, how could you guys possibly, as a Pittsburgher, there was a running back that got my man Le'Veon Bell in a little trouble with the left-handed cigarette.
Yeah, rolling up some blunts.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There you go. Blunt force trauma, yeah.
Listen.
I couldn't believe what a machine he turned into once he left Pittsburgh. He is lazier than heck in Pittsburgh.
Was he really? I got to tell you, he was the single team leader of the Philadelphia Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. I was at the Super Bowl party, and everyone was kissing the ring of LeGarrette Blount. He must have matured a lot, because I did not know he was lazy in Pittsburgh. I knew he was caught smoking with Le'Veon Bell, but he was like a real character guy in New England and Philly.
Well, Jeff, he knew he didn't have a chance to win a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh. Let's be real.
Oh, get out of here.
He knew that. They weren't going to win a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh with him, because Belichick was always standing in the way of them.
Yeah, as long as Brady was on the team, they weren't going to win a Super Bowl. You're right.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
And by the way, you are correct on the Antoine Smith spelling. ANTOWAIN.
Yeah, I know. I remember that always confused me a little bit. So, by the way, LeGarrette Blount, Oregon Duck. We are, of course, a big fan of the Ducks here at this show. I think
Throw a few punches.
What's that?
Remember when LeGarrette Blount threw the punch?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love LeGarrette
Matured
Blount.
a lot.
I like LeGarrette Blount, though. He always played hard in Philly, and I thought he played pretty hard in New England. I think
absolutely
you're not going to stick around a running back if you don't play hard with Bill Belichick.
He had multiple stints in New England. He was there, then left, then came back. And in that Deflategate game, he was a force to be reckoned with.
All right, coming up next, I am going to share the most awesome show on all of television right now. You may or may not be watching it, but you should, because it is a test of manliness like no other.
Really?
Yes, it is such a good show.
Cameras are following me around, and now you're watching that?
Oh, get out of here. No, a real test of manliness. Like outdoor Paul Bunyan-like manliness.
Oh, okay, that's on me.
All right. Zach Gelb sitting in for Maggie Gray. We'll be right back here on Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to answer our Ask the Pros question of the day, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Kevin in Colorado. Perloff, I saw you tweeting about the show Alone. How long do you think you could last if you were on the show? You can submit a question by tweeting at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So what's Alone?
So Alone is a show on the History Channel that is re-aired on Hulu and Netflix that is very popular, especially on Netflix. It's a survivalist show where they take 10 contestants, they put you on a helicopter, and they drop you off somewhere in British Columbia, Canada. You have 10 items, including bow and arrow, you have fishing hooks, you have a tarp, and you have something to start fire with. That's all you have.
Really?
You have to stay as many days as you can. You're given no food. Any food has to be either from the land or you have to kill it or fish it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And how many contestants?
10. Usually, if you last about 100 days, you have a great chance of winning. The problem is winter comes about a month in, so you have to have a shelter that can withstand the winter. You have to beware of other predators at all times. Now, there's a misunderstanding that I don't think you guys understand.
Do you have clothes or you're naked?
You have clothes. You have plenty of clothes. No, it's freezing. This is near Alaska. It's really cold. There's no camera crew. There's no production crew. You're left alone. You have a GoPro. You are tasked with not only surviving, but filming your entire experience.
So how do you tap out if you can't make it?
You have a special walkie-talkie that will work under any condition, so you can call the production crew. You have a special number, and you pick it up and you say, I'm officially tapping. So you have, and it's on you at all times.
And they fly in and come get you, and then
They fly in or they take a boat in sometimes because it's on water. It's on a lake. So you have two ways to get food. You can either fish or you can hunt. Now, if you happen to kill a bear or a moose, then you have a great chance of winning. Because you
moose?
Yeah, a guy killed a moose in season 7. Yeah, with a bow and arrow.
Really?
These are professional bow hunters, and they're professional.
So
they're good.
They don't just take 10 random people and say, okay, we're going to drop you in wherever.
They take people who have YouTube channels on how to survive the apocalypse, and the guys who can basically live off the land. And it sounds like it's
that
kind of
changes everything for me.
What's that?
That changes everything for me.
What?
That these are professional survivalists who train their entire lives in order to survive in these conditions.
Yep. It doesn't matter.
I thought it was just kind of like Survivor. You just dump people on an island.
Yeah, but if we took your bougie ass and just dropped you off,
right? But I'm not
there's no way you would survive. I wouldn't either.
Right. But I'm not a professional survivalist. Professional survivalist, if they can't make it 2 or 3 days after doing YouTube channels and practicing and studying and doing all these things, then get the hell out of here.
Mike, they can make it 2 or 3 days. They always make it 2 or 3 days. But even the professional survivalists are completely unprepared for this. None of them, because there's not a lot of things to hunt there. So they almost all tap out because of hunger within a month.
I actually think out of everyone here at CBS Sports Radio, you would probably be best on this show.
What on earth makes you think that?
I just think there's something about you that you'd be able to survive a lot longer than all the rest of us.
I actually have strategies.
For some reason, you and Amy Lawrence are the first two people that come to mind.
Yeah. No, are you kidding me? Amy would be killer on that. But I would try to sneak in food of some sort. Okay, I've actually thought about
Perloff pulls in with a cheesesteak in his back pocket.
I would hollow out my boot and put protein bars in there. I have a strategy.
You know what? You know why you'd be terrible at this? Because you would get a jar of peanut butter, but you'd eat the entire thing in about 35 seconds.
I know. I could. Well, one of the things you have to do is be able to withstand hunger. So a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, not me. Clearly.
But the other thing that you do, you might enjoy this part. You're supposed to put on, or you're not supposed to, but it helps if you put on 40 pounds of fat before your season starts.
No, so maybe I'd be good at this.
But it's crazy. You see these guys. I'm going to just do a spoiler. The new season's on History Channel right now.
Spoiler? How long has it been out for?
It doesn't matter. You're not even watching the show.
I'm going to watch this.
I'm just going to tell you a hypothetical. A guy, because you don't know who this is, a guy actually hadn't eaten in 18 days, passed out for an hour and a half on last night's show.
And they didn't come get him?
No, so he woke up and called them and said, "You need to get me. I just passed out." When you don't have food, your blood pressure gets so low that you can't even stay conscious. You learn so many things about what the human body does when you have no food.
So they let this dude pass out for...
They weren't there. Yeah, there's no letting. They're miles away.
But they have an oversight of these people,
No oversight whatsoever. They have no camera on them.
Even behind the scenes?
Nothing. Unless they're totally faking it.
So I could get, which wouldn't surprise me for television, so I get mauled by a bear and no one would ever know?
Bears are the big issue. Bears are a problem. Yes, you could easily get mauled by a bear. They pick up your dead body. I assume you signed a waiver, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The show may be fun to watch, but if you participate in this, you're crazy.
So they're sitting there, and it'll be nighttime. You caught 2 fish, you caught 2 lake trout, you're feeling good, you cook them up. You're sitting in your bunk, you create a little shelter.
Roar.
Then at night you hear, and this happens every season, I think I hear something outside my tent. That's the last thing you want to hear. It's always a bear fishing around. Then the camera shows a giant black bear like 8 feet from where you are.
Yeah, I'm out.
You don't like
Come
bears?
save me.
Okay, you couldn't spend a night with bears in a tent?
No.
Bears circling around you?
Hold on. Didn't we just watch a video of like a family scaring a bear away by screaming? These are professional survivalists with bear spray or whatever, a bow and arrow. If there's a bear outside, you figure out a way, right?
Yeah, but bears, before they hibernate, are desperate for food, and they will eat anything, and they get much more aggressive.
They would look at you, Santa. They'd be like, nice little filet mignon over there.
Filet mignon, I'm like an appetizer. I'm like a little jalapeno popper.
Filet mignon wrapped in bacon.
If the 4 of us are being chased by a bear, that bear's going for you, Zach.
Obviously, there's a lot of meat. Tender, juicy.
He's pulling a Victor Wembanyama bodyguard to Sandra and just pushing him to the side. I don't want to get Sandra out of here. I'm going to chew on Gelb for a while.
I think you'd be last.
Oh, well, it depends.
A lot of bone.
Stu's pretty fast, though. Stu could run them.
No. I'm saying the bear's preference.
No. Nobody
you would
wants.
be last.
No animal wants to eat.
Crunch on you.
But he does all these food challenges, so I feel like there's probably more meat on the bones that we just can't fully appreciate that the bear's going to go after.
He has to be like 2 little good lamb chops for the bear.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, so you're afraid of bears?
Yeah.
Are you guys afraid of bears?
I've been close to a bear before.
Okay, what? Yeah, me too. Where were you? I was in Alaska.
I was at a sleepaway camp.
Oh, no way. So was it accidental being close to a bear?
And I put some wings in a trash can and then walked right outside of the cabin that I was staying in, and right there was a bear.
Oh, no. Was it interested in you at all?
It looked at me, and I went right inside the bunk.
I'm going to totally top you. I was in Alaska, and you can go to where the bears feed on salmon and just walk right next to a bunch of brown bears.
No chance.
They don't care about you because they're eating fish. As long as they're well fed, they're not going to bother you.
Until they confuse you for a salmon. Then you're screwed.
No, it's terrifying. But I see, if you know me, Zach, I'm so afraid of sharks. It's such an overwhelming fear that bears are a distant second.
I'll show you a video during the break. I saw this on Instagram today.
The one in Florida?
I don't know where it's from, but just some girl casually swimming right next to a shark.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Did you see? All right, there's one this week where there's a bunch of dozens and dozens of people in a Florida beach. I think it's Destin. And there's a gigantic shark that starts swimming in between the people. It's all caught. You saw that one, right?
Yeah. And somebody nonchalantly just like tweeted, "Oh, they were just like chasing fish, so like no harm to the people." I'm like, "No, thank you."
Well, how about that idiot Drew Rosenhaus a few weeks ago?
That's nothing. First of all,
I'm sorry, you're an idiot. I don't care if the shark
was hooked.
I don't care.
Do you know that we're in New York City? You know that there were 3 shark attacks last week?
I was home this weekend. That's the only time I watched the news because my parents watch the news religiously, and I saw that on the news.
Okay, so what are you more afraid of, sharks or bears? Put up a Threads poll. Does Threads have polls yet?
Honestly, you're going to think I'm a wimp here.
Yeah.
I'm really afraid of skunks and raccoons.
Wow.
Raccoons.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I had a raccoon once in my fraternity house. Oh, miserable.
So what?
And then a skunk, a buddy of mine got sprayed by a skunk. Terrible.
Is that buddy still with us?
Yes.
Yeah, see, if he was attacked by a shark.
Yeah, that's true. You could survive.
You know, Maggie's afraid of squirrels. I'm just afraid of sharks.
Flying squirrels, I don't like. They had like flying squirrels at Temple. They would be in the trash can. You go throw out whatever food, they would just fly out of the trash can right at you.
That's nature in North Philadelphia. All right, Stu, more afraid of bears or sharks?
I would say sharks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Samter, I know your answer.
I'm more afraid of sharks if I'm in a situation where I'm facing a bear or a shark.
Well.
However, I feel like a bear is more likely to be near me, right? So, it's more likely to be near and attacked by a bear. So, therefore, I'm probably more afraid of bears in a general day of life. However, if I was in the situation, like drowning is my number one fear. Being eaten by a shark. Have you seen that movie? Was it Deep Water?
Yeah.
Oh
that's
my
a bad
God.
one.
That is like my nightmare. Being stuck in the middle of the ocean with like sharks circling around me.
So
nightmare.
I think if you have an encounter with a bear, I do think it's easier to get the bear away than a shark, and that's why my answer is shark. I feel once you have an encounter with the shark's just going for the kill.
No. See, I totally disagree. You just don't know the shark's there. There's so many videos. You'll be swimming in chest-high water anywhere in the country. There's sharks all around you. You just don't know they're there.
Never go into the ocean again.
I don't know why you would. my kids.
If I had taken number one, I'm at the beach. That's why I'd go.
Well, yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only time you go chest high. So my kids who are 11 and 12 are into surfing. I'm like, you're crazy. I can't go with them.
You
anymore.
shouldn't allow that as a parent.
No, I mean they surf in the Rockaways. It's actually part of Brooklyn. I'm like,
I would not allow that as a parent if I was you.
I know. My wife's into it, too. It's terrible. She's like, why don't you come surf? I'm like, there's a million reasons. First of all, there's no way I have the athleticism to get up on a surfboard.
Yeah, no shot. Show them Jaws.
I know. Yeah. Ack, what are you more afraid of, sharks or bears or neither? Because you're not afraid of anything.
No. I'm very much afraid. I'd say bears because sharks you could stay out of the water.
Right.
Bears, you could just kind of, be driving along somewhere. Like, let's say I'm going to see somebody in the Poconos, and there's a bear in front of you.
I had a bear bolt out of the car. I had a bear bolt out of the woods like it was a deer once when I was driving in the Poconos. Yeah. That was scary.
Yeah, but those bears generally are not going to bother you. This is true. They're way more afraid of you than you are of them.
Unless it's a mama bear looking for her cubs. That's ultimate death.
You're not going to believe this. I spent a lot of time in bear country. I know you guys are. I went to college.
You're like Nigel Thornberry. You talk to the animals.
Yeah, I'm basically the Bear Grylls. No, I went to college in New Hampshire. There were bears everywhere. They are way more afraid of you than you are of them.
You know what?
Wait, was that a thing at Dartmouth? Just like bears walking on campus?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, the women were not attractive, so it was very confusing.
Didn't you meet your wife in college?
Cancel culture.
No, I did not.
The one thing I was about to say, Samter, I think you'll find this funny. Brandon Tierney, who used to host here as well, he was on Man vs. Bear, and I would follow it, and he'd be like, I'm filming for Man vs. Bear. I thought he'd be like fighting the Bears, competing against the Bears, and he was just announcing.
Wait, what is Man vs. Bear?
Don't they compete against bears?
Yeah, they would do like various activities. They wouldn't actually be like in a competition with that bear per se, but it'd be like a race. Who can run faster, like over this obstacle course between this person or a bear?
But when BT first threw this out there, didn't you think he was competing in it?
No.
Oh, that's the way from following it afar. But every host that is in this time slot on CBS Sports Radio has some love for bears, supposedly.
So wait, and this show, I actually never saw this show. How did they get the bear to run the obstacle course?
I think it was trained. Am I right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I also thought BT was like, you're doing your stand up and there are bears right behind you.
He was protected.
He was protected. Yes.
It'd be fun
but
if
it was neat.
A bear combine where you had the bears running the 40 and the
shuttle cones.
I didn't know you could train bears to do these things.
Did the Chicago Bears bring in the bears for that Bears combine?
Oh man, now we're getting
this is summer
very
radio
meta. This is summer radio. I should have never told you guys about Alone. I knew it would go in a weird direction.
I think I'm going to watch it.
No,
History Channel.
History Channel is live.
Is that streaming though?
No, but you can watch it on Netflix or Hulu. Both of them have it. It's really good. There's another show called Naked and Alone.
Is that a Netflix and chill type of show or not so much?
Netflix and chill with a partner, you mean?
Well, that would be Netflix and chill. I don't think I'm chilling with myself.
No, I don't think alone. I don't think basically a guy.
Not romantic enough.
A guy fighting a wolverine for a fish.
I just had to ask.
It's not exactly romantic.
That's not sexy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, guys, I have this terrible rash on my leg, and they show it. It's like fast strength.
Baby.
Hey, you want to hook up?
All right. Before we wrap up, we will revisit Victor Wembanyama makes his big debut tonight, but is he in dire legal trouble, as Mike Samter says?
I've never heard somebody over-exaggerate something more than Samter. You would have thought the security guard murdered someone with the way that Samter was treating them.
Oh, I can't wait for the game tonight. We'll get into that and more, but first, here's a sports update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
After calling me Dash, it promises to be a packed house tonight in Las Vegas, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, not for Wayne Newton, but for Victor Wembanyama, who will be on display for the Spurs in the NBA Summer League. The 7'4", 18-year-old, the most hyped prospect in years. Fans will be able to get an up-close and personal look at what makes him so unique. The Spurs will be taking on the Hornets, whose lineup includes the second overall pick in the draft, in Brandon Miller. The Rays got off to baseball's best start, but no longer have the most wins in the majors. That honor belongs to the Braves, who they'll host tonight. Tampa Bay needs a spark, having lost its last 5. The Reds have been a terrific story and will try to end the first half the top spot in the NL Central, while the Brewers will try to spoil that fun as the two teams meet in Milwaukee, with Cincinnati holding a 2-game lead in the division and riding a 5-game winning streak. A couple of sad notes as former Mississippi State star Johnny Cooks, the second pick in the 1982 NFL draft, has died at the age of 64, and Nikki McRae Penson has passed away at the age of 51 from breast cancer. An All-American at Tennessee, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and 3-time WNBA All-Star. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, it's DA. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Good music choice there, Stu Kovacs, because the excitement is building. We are just 3 hours away from Victor Wembanyama making his Summer League debut. Okay, fine. It's just a Summer League debut, but it's July. This goes for exciting in the July sports world. 9 o'clock, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs will play the Hornets and Brandon Miller. You can see it on ESPN. Dude, I'm pretty psyched for the game.
As I said earlier, I don't usually get excited for Summer League games. I think Summer League, for the most part, is just a bunch of overreactions. But there is intrigue to see Victor Wembanyama tonight. I will admit. Mildly intrigued.
For Summer League, this is pretty good. But, of course, there's a lot going on with Victor Wembanyama, which brings us to our shot of the day.
He shoots! He scores!
Shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. So, Wembanyama, not just debuting, he's got a lot going on. Britney Spears' video is out. It's all happening.
This really seems as a big non-story here that everyone's overreacting to.
I don't know where you're from, but if you come at me from behind in suburban Philadelphia where I grew up,
that's a little different.
That's different. You're going to get your hand slapped. But I agree with you. I can't understand why people are taking this story so seriously, as if it was the slap hurt, like it was Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. It's nothing like that.
I'll tell you why.
Small case of misunderstanding.
This is always going to be a story because I'm stupid, you're stupid, we're all stupid. We make this such a big deal, and we love being stupid.
Well said, Zach.
We're all a bunch of dopes.
Yeah, I mean, we do blow stories out of proportion. This one definitely seems to me. I actually like Wembanyama. We heard sound earlier. He's like, it was a misunderstanding, and then I went and I had a nice dinner. The dude is 7'5". I mean, what judge would not give this guy a pass? He has no idea what's happening down there in the rest of, you know that old joke, how's the weather's down there?
Yeah.
You could actually say that to Victor Wembanyama, and it makes sense.
But he did nothing wrong here. It was the issue between the director of team security, whatever his title is for the Spurs, and Britney Spears. Victor Wembanyama was just walking and being famous, And someone else who was also walking and being famous tapped him on the back, and then the whole incident occurred where you saw the video. I know the video quality was not great, but it didn't look like it was the end of the world.
No, I don't think it was, and I don't think it's going to become any kind of problem for Wembanyama. If he doesn't play well, he's got much bigger problems.
Yes, well, according to Mike Samter, this is always going to be remembered for the rest of his career if he ends up stinking up the joint.
Okay, yeah, no, Samter was upset by it, but...
Do you take that back now after that's marinated a little bit longer?
I still think that if he struggles, people are going to bring this up a lot.
Okay. I got to tell you, I've worked now with Mike for about a year and a half. Been a lot of fun. I'm not sure I've ever seen him more, I don't know if the word is tickled, excited, or interested in a small story than the one. Now, I don't know what kind of sound we have. I'll just tease it as an interesting Jeopardy nugget. Can you just play the sound and it all makes sense? All right, let's go to Jeopardy sound.
Hopeful because we have Anthony Edwards. It's really good. And we have Naz Reid, who I named my cat for.
You have a cat named?
Naz Reid.
Naz Reid. There you go.
All caps.
Does he get confused, or like whether you're calling for him or for the player?
But she actually watches basketball with us. She loves it.
So, Mike, tell him the reason you're so excited about this story.
So this Jeopardy contestant has a cat, and her cat, C-A-T, there's a player on the Timberwolves who's her favorite team. She's a season ticket holder, whose name is Cat.
K-A-T.
K-A-T. So you would think that if you're going to name your cat after a T-Wolves player, it's going to be Carl Anthony or Carl Towns or something. Or even Anthony Edwards. She mentions Anthony Edwards. He's a fun player. There's a million people. Rudy, you can name the team. Gobert, you can name the cat. She goes with Naz Reid. Like, if you're going to have the most obscure possible name ever, and it's not just Naz or Reid, full name, Naz Reid. And she apparently makes it all caps, as if that matters, how your cat's name is spelled in all caps. But Naz Reid, so like, it got me thinking, like, of all the players that I used to love growing up, like I had Sammy Sosa and David Justice and Paul O'Neill, like my favorite athletes, Roberto Clemente. There were always like those like scrub players that you love, those guys that like nobody else likes.
Wait. You just said Roberto Clemente and Paul O'Neill. Wait. Those aren't Naz Reid.
No. These were like my star players that I liked watching.
Okay, but then
I had those like random guys also.
Yeah,
the Dana Barroses, the John Bagleys,
Joe McEwing.
Yes. So it got me thinking, like, who are the guys that, like, if I were to name my animal after an animal, but not, or after a star or after an athlete, but not like a Derek Jeter, not an A-Rod, but like those random guys that I loved.
Like a Boston College point guard, it turns out, Bagley and Barrows.
John Bagley was awesome.
So was Barrows.
Loved him.
I liked a punter by the name of Ken Walter.
Okay.
Wow.
Was my computer password for years.
Still?
No.
Oh.
I have a favorite player, but I can't say who it is.
Why? Because it's your computer password as well?
I'm going to spend all day trying to guess who.
I can give you guys some hints.
So I actually had my credit card stolen a week ago.
Oh, no.
It was hacked somehow, and someone placed an order for a $1,200 iPhone. And I caught it in time, and I got 500 emails from in some language that I can't even read. So that was a disaster. So tread lightly here, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who it is. I will give a hint. You guys know, for some reason, I love left-handed athletes. Nothing.
Phil Mickelson?
Nothing. I do like Phil, but I don't love Phil. Okay. But nothing's cooler to me than a left-handed home run, or a basketball player that plays left-handed, or a quarterback who's lefty, which is rare these days.
Is this a well-known athlete?
No. See, this is my lesser known, but he was a good player. He's no longer playing, and he may or may not be some of my passwords.
Okay.
But I can't tell you who it is.
I don't want to guess here, because then I'm gonna out you, and I don't.
Just go ahead, guess.
Nah, I don't want to do that, because if you then, if your information gets hacked, there's a lot of money there with Perloff that someone could have a field day with, and I don't want to see bad things happen with your wife and your kids, and they have no money. I don't want to do that.
First of all,
it's got to be a Philly left-hander.
No. By the way, Samter has kids. There is not a lot of money there because you said I have kids. If you have kids, there's not a lot to hack. In fact, that's the only reason I'm giving you hints. A Phillies left-hander. Well,
or some sort of Philadelphia sports athlete who was a left-hander. Like a Matt Geiger. I don't know if he was left-handed.
He was righty.
Todd McCullough, maybe.
You're just naming gigantic centers that were injured throughout the second half of their career, got too much money. I love that you're like random athletes, and you named 2 Boston College point guards.
I love both those guys. I don't know. I did like Boston College back in the day.
So left-handed. Okay.
A little Detlef Schrempf maybe for me.
By the way, I'm like naming left-handed athletes. It could be anybody. Love Ken Griffey, but it's not Ken Griffey.
Also, a big password of mine for a while when Ian Johnson.
The running back, Boise State?
And he proposed to Chrissy Papadikes. Papadikes was my password for a while.
That's good. You know, I have a friend, you could get this sort of encryption code where it sets your password to some 40-digit long thing, and all you need to know is
That's what you're supposed to do. I got a lecture about that.
So are we supposed to do that?
When my card got hacked, yeah.
Who told you to do that?
My sister and my brother-in-law.
Oh, do I have to do that thing?
I got a lecture about it. I was like, yeah, sure. I'll change it. Yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah, recently I did a password sweep. It is something that's important, especially now that I'm a big player on Threads, the new social media.
Loser.
How about maybe a wild thing, Mitch Williams?
Whoa. I mean, listen, the guy gave up the home run to Joe Carter.
Yeah.
He's not making it.
The name you want to
guess
forget.
he was famous enough at the time that he's not obscure.
You know, it's funny. As a young kid, I collected baseball cards, and I was so stupid. I would trade any All-Star I had for a Phillies player. So I would have like a Ricky Henderson rookie, and I'll be like, "Oh, you're going to give me that for
Dutch Dalton? Here you go."
Yeah, for middle reliever Raleigh Eastwood. Oh, here's your Ricky Henderson. I don't know.
Gary Maddox? Oh my God,
dude! If you have a Gary Maddox card right now, I'll give you $100.
I have a signed Gary Maddox Phillies bucket cap because when I was a kid, I went to a clinic. That was with Gary Maddox.
But I would have so made. I obviously would have had like Mike Schmidt would be every password. And actually, come think of it, I better change the password. All right, Zach Gelb, you've done a great job sitting in this week. What do you got this weekend? Because I think it's interesting.
Well, I will always remember this show, by the way, for Samter complaining about Britney Spears and then loving this audio about the Minnesota Timberwolves with this cat.
And you calling him out on Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, that was fun, too. I'm actually going to the Big 3 on Sunday. I got invited to go to the Big 3, so I'm going to check that out.
Fun.
So, I have nothing to do on a summer weekend.
Have you ever been?
No.
It's actually a lot cooler in person than you would think. Yeah, I've been a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh, is it cool? Like, do you have to root for a team, or can you just go there and show up and be
just
good?
Go up and show up? There's so many stars. Like every team
it's a
has
lot of
former
nostalgia,
stars.
probably.
Yeah, and the fans are right on the court. So depending on where your seats are, you're like right next to the guys. They're like jumping.
I was told I'm on the court.
Game.
That's what I was told.
You're right in the action. Basically, you could basically step on the court and take a shot.
That's awesome.
Got to work on that jumper then.
I have a gigantic costume party in Gloucester, Massachusetts, home of the Perfect Storm.
What are you dressing up as?
It is all. You're gonna think
Peter
this is so
Pan?
weird. You're very close. I must have told you.
No.
It's all Alice in Wonderland theme, and I am a giant king of hearts, and I have a card costume that takes up my whole body. I look like basically one of those guys on the side of the street selling car insurance.
Can you tweet out a photo and not put it on Threads? Because I won't see it if it's on Threads. Make sure you put it on Twitter, please. Not this fugazi new social media website.
Are you kidding me? I bought the costume. I said this would be great for Threads. All right, thanks to Mike Samter, Stu Kovacs, to Zach Gelb. Great job. Maggie's back on Monday. Maggie Perloff Show.